And
hello and welcome to A Gypsy's Kiss. It's Friday Fenndango and I'm Shelley Carney.
And I'm Toby Younis. Thanks for joining us tonight. We have emails to read, some text messages to read, some voicemails to listen to, and then open call night. And I'm sure we've got lots to talk about. We're glad you're here.
And we're back.
And we are back.
So tell us about this picture on the wall.
I've got a letter.
It has an entire letter that goes with it.
Yeah, it has a letter associated with it, so we'll do it.
Okay.
Yeah, you like it?
It's very nice.
Yeah, well, it's nice. I like it a lot.
Good place to be today.
So, let me do some
housekeeping. You want towel?
Kind of have towels to dry your hair.
Do your Mr. President thing like you were do it again.
No.
So she was doing. So she's like,
No.
This is Shelley, Mr. President. Do that.
No.
Do just a little bit of it. It was really cute. Hi, Mr. President.
I didn't even say Mr. President. You said that.
Well, yeah, but that's the direction you were heading. I thought that's what was coming.
Hello.
Yeah.
Welcome to Friday Fenndango.
Friday Fenndango.
Forrest Fenn, Friday Fenndango.
Yeah, Mr. President. So, what did I just already press that?
Housekeeping, yes.
I did.
Do it all over again.
Okay.
You gotta have towels to dry your hair.
If you're here before you leave tonight, make sure you like this video. YouTube likes it when you like our videos. Also, share this video once it's up and processed with your family members, your friends, your business associates, the secret lovers that you maintain, and everyone in your social networks. That helps us to
grow
our channel. And then finally, if you're not already a subscriber, that's right. If you're not already a subscriber, this would be the ideal time to subscribe. And that way, what will pop up is the notifications bell. Let's pay attention here. Notifications bell. And if you click on that notifications bell, whenever we schedule a live stream or whenever we start a live stream, you will be immediately informed. And there's nothing better than being in the know. Nice.
In the know.
In the know. And then finally,
look what DIY Dave just did. He gave us $1 in Super Chat, and you can do it too. DIY Dave has started our Super Chat challenge for tonight with $1, and it's blue, isn't it? So let's see how many colors we can hit tonight in the Super Chat challenge. And all you need to do to participate is to click on the stylized $sign at the bottom of the chat, and YouTube will help you do the rest. And when you put a comment or question in there, it pops it up in a pretty box, just like DIY Dave did. Although he didn't ask a question, but we'll be looking for one from him in the future.
And if you'd like to reach out to us on the chat room, make sure you precede your question with an @ space Gypsies space Kiss. Another one.
Did you get him a cha-ching?
I did. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I missed it.
Are you doing that because I did 2 housekeepings?
Yeah.
So precede your question in the chat room with an @ a Gypsy's Kiss. So
who can show us how to do that?
Somebody show us how to do that. So it'll highlight that, and that way we'll notice it. An alternative to that, of course, is you can text your messages to 866-597-9901. Also leave voicemails there until we open up the call line.
Don't tell us your phone number out loud.
If you're leaving a voicemail, do not give us your phone number, but do tell us your first name and from which state you are calling.
There you go.
There you go.
Matt Bear and the Sassy both have shown you how to highlight our name.
And all you have to do is do an @ space, and it should pop up. After that, you just click on it and select it.
Unless you're on a cell phone, sometimes it doesn't.
Oh, really? Is that why K-Pro can't do it?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. Kaypro needs help finding a secret lover.
A lover?
Well, that's what she said. She doesn't have any secret lovers right now.
What?
Julie?
Huck Fenn.
Huck Fenn. I get it. That's a new name. Cute way to start off.
Participating in our Super Chat Challenge with a green Super Chat box.
And don't forget, if you are, no matter what you're contributing to a Super Chat, that's a really pretty, I haven't seen
Turquoise,
that one. Make sure you take advantage. You can type in a question if you have one, and we answer all questions, but if you want to answer a question when you do your Super Chat, we'll be happy to do that as well.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to start, because I want to get to phone calls tonight. I'm not sure why.
We're going to start with text, though.
Yeah, we're going to start with text, then we'll go back to the room, say hi to everybody, and then we'll come back with emails, okay?
Okay, doke.
So what do we got? Hi, it's me.
What?
What?
Got the video.
Oh, God, sure. Let's see.
Guys made all those beautiful videos for you. You better use them.
Okay, got it.
There.
So
see?
we just got an email from that lady
Wasn't it
that
worth
has
the time
visions.
it took to watch
no, it was. You know what? It was worth
Joel
the time.
Wiki loves those.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me see. Make sure, because that was the lady who has the visions, and I want to make sure we don't miss one of her emails.
Oh,
Let me just
she
check it real
maybe
quick.
just sent us another repeat.
Oh, there's another one. Oh, that's from Matt.
Print it up.
Yeah, I'm going to print that one up.
Read it out.
And then, hang on, we just got a couple of extra emails, so we're going to make sure we print those out so we can read them when we do emails.
Yeah.
And then,
And this text is from Randy. Last week, Shelley mentioned something about look quickly down, having some old English meaning tied to a well. What was that about? I don't think it's in a well, but it could help me with something else. Thanks. Randy, that was something that Cynthia Meacham told us when she was here a couple of weeks ago on a Friday night.
so
She had found out the meaning, the old English meaning was to look quickly down was to look just below the surface of the water. Like if you were looking into a well, it wouldn't be all the way down at the bottom of the well, it would be near the top
just
of the
near
water.
the surface, yeah. That was Cynthia's. Go back. That she said that on that night that she was visiting with us a couple of Fridays ago. Okay. Well, thank you for reading that while I was reading. So you've got that from Matt?
Yep, staple it.
Okay. Question from, this is from Bo. Hi, Bo. I don't know if he's in the room. Bo, are you in the room? And Sophie? Sophie is 5 years old. Who owns riverbank sides? Generally speaking, if you're on property associated with a riverbank, the property owner owns the riverbank from the point of high water, I think is how they define it. So at the high water level, that bank is owned by the river. That's why you can navigate. You can navigate down rivers through private property as long as you don't get off on the sides of private property. So the landowner, whoever owns the land on either side, owns it at the high water mark, is how they usually define it. Let's see.
Yes.
So this was the guy that I think was calling about Los Alamos. It's not west, it's well clear of 8.25 miles north of Santa Fe northern limit. We had that conversation. Then he added, I'm in New Zealand. Sorry.
Mike Wood.
It's Mike Wood. Hi. I've started something, didn't finish. One thought I have is maybe the key word is element. To be in tight focus, you need a lens with lens elements. Oh, that's interesting. And the letter I, is an element. Iodine, he says.
Ah. Okay. Often found in fish.
Yeah,
Oh, we have another money from Huck Fenn.
Huck, dang, brother.
$10. That's a yellow box.
Warm water salt start at the World Wide Web. Oh, I would love to hear.
Water
You call in later and explain
WWW.
that. Oh, I get it.
See?
Warm waters.
www.
Where warm waters halt.
That's
waters-
totally possible, which would lead you right to fishing regulations.
Exactly. Nice. Evil laugh. Evil laugh.
Yep.
Do that evil laugh again. I like it better when you're talking like Marilyn.
Oh,
Okay,
you're
we
so
got.
funny.
We have got a
Happy birthday.
Mr.
Hi, Toby and Shelley. This is, I'm going to call myself the Beverly Hillbilly from Pennsylvania.
Oh, we did this, didn't
I've
we?
watched these guys
Not that I
quite a
remember.
couple months here. I've only been in the chase for 4 months. I'm leaving to go to my search area. This is a cock-a-doodle-doo. If you
No,
haven't
we
realized
listened
that.
to
I'm
this
leaving to go to my search area very shortly.
Okay, I'm going to stop this because we listened to it on
And
Wednesday.
I'm sure cock-a-doodle-doo.
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 Yeah, we did it. Okay, let's see.
Well, we should talk to lead searchers next.
Answer, yeah. Answered call. This is from Leah from Oregon. Caller suggested it would be a prize. However, we should remember that Forrest, and she's referring to this afternoon's conversation. Caller suggested it would be a prize. However, we should remember that Forrest said whoever finds it would certainly have earned it per all the effort, but I believe it's a gift. Number 2, concerning the trove, I find that he was considerate and picked his words carefully to cover all bases for the timing of the find. Hubby and I, boots on the ground, June 3rd in New Mexico. People do share info. LOL. Yeah, I think we do share info. I'm always doing that. No transcript from this. Okay, so they called it hung up. Let's delete that. Let's see. Hi, it's me, Randy, again. Last week, Shelley mentioned something about... Oh, no, we did that. Follow up. Think it's in a well, but it could help me with something else. Well, dadgummit. Why is this already back to the top? Oh, okay. So this is from Randy. He says, hi, guys. I was wondering why so many people online have been talking about a lead searcher. Do you believe Forrest is really hinting to us that it's almost over? I'm pretty new to the chase, so I don't know if this is normal chatter in the search world. It is normal chatter, but in our opinion, there is no...
Cha-ching.
Wow.
Stephen Creel getting in on the Super Chat Challenge with $24.99. And he says $20, which I'm not sure what that remark is pointing at.
Yeah.
But thank you,
So,
Stephen.
even Wingman says, put my name down as a lead searcher, scratch everybody else's name off.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Talk to
as an actor, if you go to an audition, it's considered really rude to go into the audition and then come out and there's a bunch of people sitting there waiting to go in and you go, you might as well, I'll go home. They told me I already have it.
Which is an indication that they're worried that somebody that follows them actually gets it. But here's our opinion on the lead searcher. There is no credible evidence that a lead searcher exists. You can interpret things that Fenn said, and that's what most people do. They take something that Fenn has said and interpret it to mean that there's some kind of lead searcher. The lead searcher is a myth created by some members of the search community to assuage their fears that they are not. And that's all I have to say on that matter.
Okay, Forrest Gump. Life is like a box of chocolates.
So you
never know what you're going to get.
You'll have to think about that. WWH is a metaphor for when his comfort ends. Oh, we're back to the comfort thing.
Contentment. Comfortable. Warm water. Warm water. What is warm? Warm is comfortable.
Warm water is a metaphor for when his comfort ends when he goes back to school. Anonymous, not anon, but anon. Period. So it's anonymous. He doesn't want to be anon.
Okay.
Sent via send a text. Very good. Well done. Okay, that's all I got in the way of text right now. We might get more later in the evening. So the text line, voicemail line is open right now if you want to send text messages. Or you want to go say hi to the room? Where are we?
We should do that.
Done 150 analysts.
We should do that.
Okay.
All our friends in the room who are giving us all this great super chat.
Yeah.
So we want to pay attention to them.
Okay, go.
All right.
I can go back to, 6:59.
Let's have a little competition here. How far can you go back?
I can go back to Happy birthday, Mr.
President.
Wow, you just missed it.
6 o'clock. What?
You just missed it.
Missed what?
This.
What? $50. Huck. Thank you.
What I know, I'm great at. What I don't know, I'm genius. Yeah, we have that. We had a moment of that before the show started tonight.
Thank you, Huck.
Okay, so
you're on fire tonight.
Wow.
Look at that bright pink. What do you call that? What would you call that color?
Chartreuse.
No, chartreuse is yellow-green.
Magenta.
It's close to magenta. Hot pink magenta kind of.
Yeah, that's a hot. Look at that. Wow.
Bright rose. Very nice.
Nice, very nice,
you.
Huck.
Fuchsia.
Thank you, Huck Fenn.
Fuchsia.
That was the one I was trying to think of.
All right, I'm going to start our hellos to Michael Griffiths, Matt Bear, Angelina Sings, also known as Maria.
Wait, where do you see her?
She is at 653.
Oh, you went all the way back there?
Yeah.
Oh.
23 Monarchas here.
23 Monarcha, you get to everything. Turn, turn, turn. There is a season. Turn, turn, turn. And we're not drinking tonight because she's still on a diet. We did it. We drank last week because
it was party time.
Because it was party
We're having
time.
a party week. This week is not party week, unfortunately.
Yeah. No,
can't party every week. Redneck Express is here, and DJ Novatech.
Hey, DJ from Gallup, New Mexico.
Yeah, Gallup. That's what I was going to say.
Who's a friend of the...
Hey, Matt Brewer's here. We have an email from Matt Brewer tonight.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that. Budweiser Nenig, which is Robert Nenig, who got our Walk of Shame.
He got the
song,
WOS.
The other night. Because he went boots on the ground and did not find the treasure, and he let us know about it.
He was courageous to come back into the room and let everybody know.
In other words, he joined the Boots on the Ground club because anybody who's been boots on the ground hasn't found the treasure.
Yeah.
So we're all there with you.
We're all there with you. We've done that Walk of Shame 32 times.
James Casey, Alternate Reality.
What time are you at, if you don't mind me asking?
I have 6:57.
Oh,
Sapa West. Donna Buckholz, Huck Fenn, of course, with all his great Super Chat challenges for us, Full Press, Wayne Ross, Thomas Sawyer. We got Huck Fenn and Thomas Sawyer in the room.
Wow. It's a regular...
yeah. Mark Twain.
Mark Twain night.
Tweenathon. It's a tweenathon.
So I didn't realize that Robert had changed his name to Bud Weiser. And he says, boots on the ground, I'm wiser now.
Yeah, aren't we all when we do that?
Yeah.
Journeyman's here. Hello, Jim Black, Alan K, Lydia D, The Sassy, 1962.
Hi, Sassy. You got blamed for, you're in an email here because you got blamed for something that you didn't do, but I'm going to explain it to the gentleman.
We'll correct everything.
Yeah, we'll correct everything.
Missouri Dave. Point V. There are places that sound like quickly. Also, to lay down quickly is a requirement when fishing for trout in the small streams. Trout gets easily spooked. No need to be seen.
Agreed.
Okay. William Hada is here from Connecticut.
WFG. Hey, what do you say, brother?
WFG, as Toby said. And Paladin. One of your
I've been singing that. I've been singing that song.
A soldier of fortune is a man called Paladin.
Paladin.
Alrighty. DIY Dave. We have Naked Fridays. What?
Naked Fridays
well,
is
you
next
could be
week.
naked, not
next
us, because we're on camera.
Next week, Naked Fridays.
What?
We can't. You know why we can't? It would demonetize us immediately.
Yeah, it's a YouTube rule. Salty Dog, good evening. Tony Driver, Dev JB. We have K-Pro.
How did you... wait, did you...
She gets a little cowbell.
We had to send her that song so she can play it when she walks in at WSOP, and she just thought to carry a little.
It should be your ringtone.
A boom box.
Just click
that should be your.
Every
You
time.
should make that should be your ringtone. Did you not say hi to William? Naked Fridays.
Did I miss him?
Yeah, well, he's Naked Fridays. See our point exactly.
We also have, I said Salty Dog, I think, and then Davio.
Davio. Mr. Mysterious. Isn't he coming up close here?
Oh, he's in May.
Are we going to read that? Are you going to read that later?
I will.
Okay.
We have Zozo Rock.
Because we're 17 days.
Zozo Rocks.
As we wind on down the road, our shadows time in our soul.
And then we
That
have,
just gets me all re-energized.
yeah, that's why we do this, because we need like a little infusion here. John Curb, Nennig, welcome to the Fenn Boots on the Ground post-traumatic stress syndrome.
Yeah.
Stephen
Everybody needs this
Creel.
because we're going to treat you with respect no matter how much you bragged about going out to find the treasure before you actually went boots on the ground.
And now when other people brag, you're going to go, yeah, I remember that.
I remember that.
I remember being like that.
Yeah.
Stephen Creel, Peanut Pie, J.A. Street.
Is there such a thing as peanut pie?
It's just P.I., so maybe he's a P.I.
Peanut private investigator?
Yeah, maybe so. Or something like that. Okay, Larry. Wow. Okay, Larry, we have not seen you in ages.
Back again.
Ages.
Couldn't resist.
Matt Brewer, Matt Bear, a couple of Matts.
Oh, well, that only proves they're not the same people.
Full Press, Alternate Reality. Mr. T is here. Mr. T, I see your name coming up in May. I see double R 1219. Heather Dawn is here.
Heather Dawn. I always feel like Ray Charles when we do that.
People might not like that song so much anymore if they saw last Sunday's show.
Oh, was it bad? What happened?
Oh, I can't tell you spoilers.
Oh.
But a lot of
Did
people
anybody-
who
did
named
anybody-
their kids Khaleesi or Daenerys are unhappy. Yeah.
She didn't die, did she?
No.
Oh. Is she evil? Did she try-
Maybe.
Oh.
We don't know yet.
So you're going to have a little blonde girl running around going, Khaleesi, stop killing the cat. Don't burn the cat.
Stop lighting the cat on fire.
Yeah.
Deep Thinker is here.
Hey, Deep Thinker. Nice to see you again.
Yeah. Steve Wayne, Man in the Park is here. Wingman. Czar 334.
Wingman, we have the Thunderbirds in town this weekend.
Da Bear.
The Bears.
No, just Da Bear.
Oh, it's just one of them, huh?
And Solito.
Solito, all by himself.
Yeah. Point V. Terry McKernan.
Dev JB says, correct about the high water line, indeed. He's agreeing with me. The Bear.
GL Cannon. We have an email from GL
Oh,
Cannon.
we have
tonight, too, right?
and that's
Whatever that was. Marty Bird's here. Finders Keepers. We have
full
Jungle
press.
Cruiser.
The keyword is face. I'm in your face.
Jungle Cruiser says, if Fenn designed a treasure hunt with a poem and a book, he had to have some kind of bold pattern to use, so it could be solved no matter how difficult. Bold pattern, okay. George Vambudakis from Michigan. Vambudakis. And I hope I'm saying that
We don't get a lot of
close to
people
being
from Michigan,
correct.
do we?
I don't know. Do we not? Michigan. We have Sapa West. I said that.
Sapo what?
Sapa West.
Spell it.
S-A-P-A.
Oh,
West.
Sapo West. I thought you said Sapo. Sapo is a nickname for a frog. Sapo, Spanish.
Okay. Maybe a frog. I don't know. Ander Haven. Hi. We have Jan Curb, Full Press, Marty Bird.
I saw a
Larry.
question. Somebody, wait, hang on. Go back for a second. What is the Spanish word for riverbank? You'd think it was something simple like banco. It's not. It's orilla del río, the end of the river. Orilla del río, the side of the river. I wish it was something simple like banco, but it isn't.
Joel Lewicki's here.
Hey, Joe. Make sure we call in later.
He's got a song. Play Joel's song.
Oh,
But I still haven't found what I'm looking for. But I still haven't found what I'm looking for.
All right.
so Jill Cannon says, enjoyed the Trove video. I work for a living, so I cannot listen during the day. I know, but that's why we process them and put them out there as videos so you can't see them.
All right. We also have Mary Green.
Mary Green. Hi, Mary Green. We haven't seen you in a while.
Oh, Dave Hedblom. Copper Dan.
Copper Dan's in the room. Copper Dan, send your song to me again, please.
Because he lost the list.
No, I didn't lose the list. I forgot where I put the list because I'm old.
Is it abandoned property? Or
It is abandoned
lost,
property. Yeah,
or
if you
is it-
find it, if you find it, you can keep it.
Okay. Copper Dan, yes. I'm using the craft room. Kurt Hensley.
Copper Dan is using the craft room. Send us a picture of the craft room so we can show it to the folks. Email
Tom
us a picture.
K.
Stephen Creel says he loves the show and the community.
I don't know why that didn't take. Let's try that again. All right. Mary says fuchsia. Fuchsia is the color.
Yeah.
And
Sassy, have another beer, Toby. I'm not drinking. You know what I'm drinking tonight? I'm drinking caffeine-free Diet Dr. Pepper.
Is it caffeine free?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh.
I got some caffeine-free so I can sleep better at night.
River Rat. Oh,
what a
River
cool name.
Rat.
River Rat.
Adam Foddy's here in the
Adam.
middle of the night.
Wow, Adam. What time is it there? Dang. So Gary Barber says he finally cracked warm water salt, at least 2 very similar variations, the
Oh.
same thing.
Did we say hi to Ander Haven and talk about his super chat?
Wait.
Ander Haven, it was about 7:20 p.m.
Wait, was that? Are you saying there was a super chat?
Yeah, I think we did. There it is. See it?
Oh, hi. Oh, dang. Anderhaven. Sorry about that. Hi, all. I never hear about solves near Red River, New Mexico. Why is that? Not funny enough. So
Toby's been there, and that's what he told me.
yeah, A, it's not funny enough, and B, it's populated. Red River is a popular summer resort and ski resort. And so there's a lot of traffic around the area. It's a nice area. It's a beautiful area, but I would say it's ruled out just because of the amount of traffic that it carries.
Oh, it's old home night. Look who's here, Minotaur Marino.
Wow.
Wow.
The Minotaur.
Yeah, he says, I have a theory that 92% of people that talk about a lead searcher think they are humbly bragging that they believe they are the lead searcher. What percent do you think?
We think everybody's leading, as long as you're trying.
Bill Cross is here.
We're like a 7-year-old soccer team. You get a trophy even if you don't win the tournament.
Adam Foddy says, how does Toby play the song so quickly?
Because I have.
Because I hit him really hard.
Because I have. Can I do this? I'm gonna probably pull something out here. Because I have that. Right. That's upside down, but that's called Boss Jock, and it has effectively digital buttons on it, and the buttons have names on them. So when she says the name, boom.
Yeah.
I'm
If
there.
we miss your name or miss your song, let us know.
Jason Dent's in the room. Hey, Jason Dent.
All right. Milan Fenner. And we have Christian the Great from Philadelphia.
Christian the Great.
Laddie Addie's here.
Oh, Laddie Addy. We've got an email from him that speaks about Sassy and Laddie. I'll tell you when I say the email, it wasn't Sassy that brought up that point that you're talking about.
GL Cannon. Need a little Paco Bell Cannon in here for
Paco Bell.
sophisticates.
I think I can do that. Hang on. Canon in D.
Sophisticates.
Canon in D minor by Pachelbel. You know what's really fun is there's a bunch of guitar.
You could just sing it. Dee Dee
No,
is here.
it's an instrumental.
Well, you could hum it. All right, Sam Leno. Wow, Sam, you're in here in the middle of the night too. And a couple of
Hang on.
Britishers here tonight.
They can't hear it.
I'll hear it in my headset.
Oh, rats. That wasn't what I wanted.
No,
That was
it
like a
wasn't.
guitar lesson.
Canon. Wingman says, I got my DNA results the other day. Hi, cousin.
What? Who are you talking to, Wingman?
Wingman. Well, he
Where does he say
says
that?
a gypsy's kiss.
Wingman, a Gypsy Kiss got my DNA
7:23
results
p.m.
the other day. Hi, cousin. What am I looking at? Because did you do 23 and me? Well, we're all related by 4%, give or take 4%. If you did 23andMe and you ended up my cousin, was that what you're telling me, Wingman? Because I have a bunch of people on there. I got that. Who gave that to me? One of my kids gave that to me.
Oh,
So we
that
could
was your
find out.
nephew.
Oh, no, you're right. It was my nephew.
Santos. And his wife May and their
Yes.
little child, and I don't remember the child's
Yeah.
name. What's the baby's name?
Sophie.
No. Really? Is it?
I think it is.
Okay.
Sophia. Sophia.
Sophia. Okay. Gary Barber II. I finally cracked where warm waters halt. At least to two very similar variations of the same thing, and it's not what is talked about anywhere, and I think I have a loose grasp on Home of Brown. I'll be in New Mexico to begin it in 2 weeks.
Is
All right.
he on our list?
Gary Barber. I've never seen his name before.
Hey,
So
Gary Barber, would you like to put on our rooster list?
he may not know what
So-
that is.
Oh, so we have a list, Gary. We have a list of people that claim they're going to be recovering the treasure in certain months. We're in May now. That sounds like 2 weeks from now. You could be late May, early June. Let us know if you want us to add us to the list, because you'll be in really good company. Mm-hmm. Really good company.
We have Sean Malloy and Jason Hamilton. Todd Birmingham is here. We have, okay, a nice conversation going
GL
on.
Cannon says he mailed John Kleber. I'm not even sure he's still alive, GL.
Well, we don't know.
He was an old guy when I talked to him a couple of years ago.
Illinois Ghost is here. You always say hi, Rick. Oh, I think we got some more super chat coming up. Yep, from Angelina Sings.
Wow.
$9.99.
Looking for a good show. Well, I think it's been pretty
right.
good already. Short of me taking off my shirt. So George says, AGK Shelley, bonus points for the perfect pronunciation of my long last name, LOL. So it's Van Vudicus. So tell me if that was close.
I don't know. I can't see it anymore. Went off my screen.
We just got why aren't we getting a beep when we just got another Huck Finn super chat?
Yeah.
It says, has Forrest Fenn ever said the clues are within the search area? So I'm going to answer like Forrest. He's never said they are all within the search area, but he's never said they aren't. Right? So there's no way, there is no indication as to, and we have a lot of people who use the Green River Solve up in northwestern Colorado and started in Utah. He's never indicated. He says the treasure, what he said was that the treasure is in the Rocky Mountains and one of these four. He doesn't even say the 4 states. He just shows the map. So yeah, he's never given any indication either way.
Brian Eagle's in the room. Again.
You can take off your shirt until Mitzi gets here. Then it just gets crazy.
Mr. Anonymous. I don't know if that's the one we got the text from. There's a lot of where warm waters to sift through, but I hope to find it within June. Go ahead and put me on the list. Okay, Gary.
Jason
On the
says,
list for June.
this is cute. Jason Den says, Huck Finn, wish you were on my live chats with all those super chats. Yeah, we like super chats.
Oh, everybody does.
Everybody.
Everybody gets excited about a super chat challenge.
Everybody loves the super chat challenge.
That's right. It's even fun to say. Let's say it all together. Super chat
Super chat
challenge. There's a little cowbell going on.
What is what was the girl that used to be on Saturday Night Live and she'd do super something? She was like a super cheerleader.
Yeah.
And she'd do super. What was that? Anybody remember the girl that used to be? Jan Schultz is back at it.
Hey,
$4.99. Hello,
Jeff.
peeps.
Thank you. That's $4.99. Hello, peeps from
Hello,
Jeff
peeps.
and Schultz.
Huck Finn, ask the hard-hitting questions. Yeah, if you're putting that much money into it, Huck, you should ask some hard-hitting questions to get the answers. Are you ready for emails? Or are
Jay
you still
Scott. Oops. Yeah, I think. Oh, Man in the Park is here.
going? Man in the Park, you said hello.
I think
to.
I said hello to everybody.
Did you say hello to Rick? Rick's in the room.
I did.
Illinois Ghost. Hey, Rick. How are you doing, sir?
Although I said Illinois Ghost and you didn't say hi, Rick.
Oh, okay.
Mark Brown is here. Oh, we got another cha-ching.
What the? Oh,
Copper
Copper Dan, he
Dan.
says, I shipped you a package via FedEx that arrived today and was signed for. Did you get it? No, well, I didn't, Copper Dan. I got a message that it arrived at my UPS box. So I'll pick it up tomorrow.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome. Looking
yeah,
forward to that.
I have that address that we gave you is my UPS box. And I did get the message that the package received. They signed for it. And I'll go pick it up tomorrow. I didn't get the message
Superstar.
until later.
Superstar.
That's it. That's
And then
the
she
one.
put her hands in her, and then she said,
Yeah.
I remember now. Superstar.
What was her
Who
name?
said
What
that?
comedian?
Mary Catherine. James
Mary
Casey got it. Woo!
What? Todd Birmingham
Woohoo!
with a question.
And
the topic
all will be
evidence-
well also. Gets another cha-ching.
Oh.
Oops.
What did you, don't.
Well, you were pushing
Oh,
it.
you were empty a card. Okay. Did you do it?
Cha-ching. There you go.
Okay. So, all well, be well, thank you.
Yes.
Did we have one before that as well?
Oh, we got that one.
Okay. Then Todd
Copper
Birmingham
Dan.
says, the topic, quote, evidence on Harry's was directed at you. Since you don't think there's a lead searcher, did you read the thread? There's some convincing examples that may convince you or not. I haven't read the thread, but I can assure you that the things that people use as evidence is not really evidence. It's interpretation of its opinion based on, so when Fenn says the quote about his gut feeling, and that's interpreted to mean Fenn said his gut feeling, therefore there must be someone close to the treasure. And then when he said, my gut feeling was wrong, well, they're not. I've looked at all the quotes that have been made over the past couple of years when people started identifying a lead searcher, and it's not evidence. It's circumstantial at best and opinion at worst. And I can go through each one of them. I mean, maybe I should go read I'll tell you what, I'll go read the chat and I'll take all the things that claim to be evidence. I'll explain why I believe they're not evidence. There is no way to determine if there's a lead searcher because there is no way to determine even if they were publishing it. The only way to determine if there was a lead searcher, if the lead searcher had resolved the clues and was letting everyone know along the way, including Fenn, that he was resolving the clues. But my sense is that if you can figure out where warm waters halt and you follow the clues directly, it's not going to be like I'm going to go back and do clue 1, 2, 3, and then go back again 4, 5, 6. If you can get to warm waters halt, it is greatly expected, considering that Fenn did all of this in one afternoon, that you're going to be able to go from warm waters halt to looking straight down at that treasure. So. Yeah, there is no way to measure the concept of a lead searcher in this. You know where you could have met it, and I'll go back to our friend Sassy and her David Blaine, because the clues were identifiable at each point along the way. You could identify someone who said, oh, I found this. Now, what was interesting, of course, is they kept sharing those things, and that's how eventually they found the treasure. As in the conversation that I had with Candy this afternoon, we don't have that benefit. We don't have any way to know that we're making headway. And if you don't know if you're making headway or not, then the concept of a lead searcher doesn't exist.
One big secret that he will reveal. Come on, K-Pro, you know everything. Jennifer Wiswell's here.
Hey,
and
Jennifer.
We just had a super chat from Laddie Addy.
Oh, did we give him a ka-ching?
I did, while you were blah,
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 blahing.
blah, blah, blah.
Filling the room up with hot air.
Yeah.
But thank
All
you,
in
Laddie
one
Addy.
space.
Thank you. And it's Molly Shannon was the actress,
Molly
in
Shannon.
case you were still
Yeah.
wondering. There's no secrets from you, K-Pro. You know everything. A. Woodhull is here. Mitzi Moore is here. Mitzi's got a song.
Mitzi.
Oh, it's over. All right, I am at the bottom. Am I at the bottom here?
Okay.
Yes. So can we do our
Let's do emails, then we'll come back for. I got
Lead
a couple of
searcher?
texts.
lead searcher? Since we're talking about lead
Oh, okay.
searcher,
Do me.
do the video.
Lead searcher. Chat lead searcher.
All right.
Okay,
Now,
while we were doing that, we got a...
Christy, we don't know what page she signed because we weren't Snoopy noses and we didn't.
Oh, yeah, we didn't.
want to know.
We didn't, and I don't think she would have told us. She was being very secretive about where she signed it.
We were just like respecting her privacy.
Yeah, we're respecting her space.
And we got another super chat.
Meet the person in the hide chopper from RR.
RR.
Thank you,
Thank
RR.
you.
That's very kind.
Yeah. And go down to the bottom. Okay, so for May, we have these people who are going to go out and get that treasure this month. We have Mr. T, Davio, Bo Walker, Rudy Green, Clayton Watson, Cynthia Meacham, and Bird. That's the guy
just
who
recently.
owns the crow that we showed on
Mickey.
the other night. He called in Wednesday. And we had Robert Nenig, but he was already boots on the ground, and we already played the Walk of Shame video for him. So
Last week or last
he's
Wednesday.
out of the running for May. But we're looking
Yes.
forward to all of you letting us know
And-
how your searches go.
And Budweiser Nenig, if you decide to go back out again, make sure you let us know so we can add you to the list.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do emails.
All right.
Do I
Ready
need
for
any
emails video?
email video? There's a little text thing. Okay, ready?
Uh-huh.
You want to go first? You have more than I do, I think.
I do.
Mm.
I think we're even or thereabouts. But I will go first. Ladies first. Ladies first. All right. Jay Ann Schultz. Oh, we forgot his music.
Oh,
Jeff Ann Schultz. Jeff?
I'm looking for him.
Dueling Banjos.
What is that? Oh, that's the one you erased.
I did not erase.
Yeah, you did.
No, I
It's
didn't.
because it shows empty right now.
What? No, I touched over here. That's the only place I touched.
Oh.
There you go, Jeff. Thanks for reminding us. We hate forgetting. Let's see. Huck Fenn, another $10. I believe there is an offer already in place from Cody Museum to purchase the entire thing. This way he becomes a legend. I also think it's near an unnamed water source, so it will be named after Forrest Fenn.
Well, you could actually name, his special place once it's found as Forrest Fenn Preserve or something. I didn't know the Cody Museum was purchasing. Does anybody have any link with evidence that the Cody Museum has agreed to purchase the treasure? Because that would be darned interesting. But you know what? Just between you and just between us chickens, museums are really cheap. They usually have to find somebody
Somebody like Forrest Fenn to donate stuff.
yeah.
And they make them on the board of trustees, and then they're expected to just donate stuff.
Sotheby's brothers and sisters. That's all I got to say. Okay, go.
All right. This is called My Song for Future Shows from Maria Davis.
Oh,
Hi, Shelley and Toby. I'm fairly new to all you guys, just several months now. My channel is Angelina Sings, which is named for my daughter. So that will come up in your viewers box, but I will put my name beside it. Maria.
Maria, I just met a girl.
Toby's going to sing for you.
Is that the end of that? I thought there was more.
My song would be My Maria by Brooks and Dunn. It's the song people tend to sing on occasion when they meet me. Toby should appreciate it since it does have a line, My Gypsy Lady, in it.
It does.
I've really enjoyed your shows since Scott from Oklahoma has called in. I'm married to a lawyer and think what he has said has been interesting. Toby and Shelley, my husband and I, are coming out to Santa Fe June 11th through 19th. If there's any chance you would like to get together for a quick dinner, let us know. Please don't read this to the public. Sorry, guys, don't listen. La, la, la.
We're going to read them.
Yeah. Awesome. I think I'll be around.
Yeah, June, she said.
June there.
Yeah, if you find yourself down Bernalillo way, Bernalillo is south of Santa Fe, but we would love to have dinner with
Yeah,
you
it's just
and
about 45 minutes.
your attorney husband. We have some questions for him. Okay, some pics from hike of Valles Caldera, August 2018. This is from GL Cannon, Glenn Coughlin, Greg Coughlin, not Glenn Coughlin.
Coughlin. Ren. There's no L in it.
Yeah,
Coughlin.
Coughlin. So this is not the evil helicopter guy. Here's some pics for you. Da-da-da-da-da-da. That's the one of the pics that we put up from the Valles Caldera that he sent us. While I don't think the treasure is here, it's a beautiful place to explore. Try getting a fishing license for it. They have a lottery to fish it every year. As close to heaven on earth as you can get in the 15-mile caldera of a super volcano. Yep, right up until the time it just blows its stack. Although I don't think this one is as active as the one else.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's dormant. I climbed the small volcanic uprising Cerro La Jara. In an hour, it's adjacent to the visitor center. In one photo, you can see storm clouds hovering over it. No, that's not the one. The other one had the storm clouds. Which reminds me of UFOs. It started to hail shortly after this photo was taken, and I had to retreat to Longmire's cabin from the TV series Longmire, which is filmed in this national preserve. Interestingly enough, he's supposed to be in Wyoming, but they filmed it here in New Mexico. Hunting and fishing are both allowed there. Yeah, outside the preserve area, there are, and I have fished that. But if you want to go into the preserve, and it's just a little tiny foot wide, well, maybe 2 feet wide stream, but they do a lottery to get in, and then you can only go for that one day. And you have to catch and release everything. You can't take anything.
Thank you for the photo.
But thank you for the photo. Isn't that a nice photo?
Awesome. Hemis.
Here, I know how to do that. Watch out here.
Via Caldera.
Here's the photo. Jet mail. There's a photo. Oh, we disappeared.
Oh, no.
Nice photo, huh? Okay, we're back.
Oh, we're back.
We're back.
All right. This one's called Questions from Kara Glockner. Dear Shelley and Toby, I'm just returning from my second Boots on the Ground, a search that included my daughter, brother, and an 84-year-old father. My dad and I have been working on the treasure hunt for over a year and a half, and this was my father's first trip to New Mexico. Like most, the treasure we found was in the memories we created and the beauty of nature that we fully enjoyed. I have several things on my mind that I wanted to cover. First, early on, I asked my dad if he had a special place. He did. A place where he spread his parents' ashes after they passed. Even though I've been to that spot in the Blue Ridge Mountains several times, I asked him to provide me with directions. It turns out it included 9 specific steps. I created a comparison chart of the 9 clues and Dad's directions, and I couldn't help but notice a match. Warm Waters Halt was on that chart next to Take Interstate 64. Take It in the Canyon Down matched us up against a certain exit off Skyline Drive.
I've been in that area.
And Put In Below the Home of Brown referred to a specific familiar and popular attraction. From that place, the location was less than a mile. I know many people want exact coordinates for Warm Waters Halt, but the canyon and the HOB, Home of Brown, seem like the clues that would require more hints from the poem. I have liked the suggestion of how to cease can become to seize. If this comparison chart holds any interest, I would be happy to share it in its entirety. Ashes are not a treasure chest, so if folks go to our special place, then it will just be a beautiful hike. Second, I am hosting a 50-day, 1 hour a day poem decipher workshop over the summer with 20 foster care youth between 13 and 18 years of age. I'd like to use your shows as part of the program. I wanted to get your permission and just let you know what a helpful tool this will be. Well, it's there for the public, and anybody who wants to use it is certainly welcome.
You are free to use our program for your class.
We hope it helps. Yeah. And lastly, I understand that Toby might have a trip to Virginia planned over the summer, and I would like to ask you if you would speak to the group. I have been following you, liking your shows, and appreciating so much the care and inclusion of your style in managing your audience. Some of the other forums have sometimes more hostile and critical tones, but you guys do such a great job in keeping your room safe and positive. Thanks for all you do for us searchers. Kind regards, Kara.
So let me see that. When is there
All
50
summer.
day,
50 days.
20 foster care between 13? So, Kara, I'm not sure that I can actually schedule my trip. As a matter of fact, my summer trip will probably be down to, is it Boca Raton time or Alexandria time? Actually, you're right. I do have to go to Virginia, but I don't know if it's that part of
Well,
Virginia.
you'll keep in touch, I'm sure.
Yeah, so you have our email address. Here's what I'll do. Here's what I'll, if I go out during the period that you're teaching the class, it didn't say when, I would be happy to join you.
Just all summer long.
Yeah. Secondly, if it's not, if it doesn't coincide with the timing that you're there, let us know, and we'll do a live stream just for your class. You can swing in using Zoom. It's a free product, and we'd be happy to sit with the class, and that way they get the benefit of having Shelley there as well. So that would be fun. I'm going to put that aside.
Very cool.
So,
and you
yeah.
know what you should do is towards the end of your group, have the kids each ask a question and send them to Forrest.
Yeah.
Because he's sometimes really good about answering questions when they come from kids like a class like that.
Mm-hmm. So this is from our drone flying friend, Matt Brewer, Shelley, and Toby. I've noticed that nearly every treasure hunt of any value uses a proxy item instead of the actual treasure or prize. I'd bet the reason for this is to avoid potential legal ownership issues. That said, Fenn is quoted on treasuretracer.com as saying, "The treasure is still where I hid it. There is no proxy item," which is true. He has said that. And I think the difference, well, let me read yours. Now, the Fenn quote above could just mean there's no proxy for the chest itself, but there's a proxy for the treasure, like title to the gold. Let me see. The treasure is still there where I hid it. I don't know, but he's saying the treasure. That includes the chest and the contents, I imagine. But if we take his statement at face value, it seems to me that putting the gold, jewels, and other artifacts inside the chest would almost certainly increase the chances of litigation in nearly every scenario. Joel Lewicki might shed some light on this. We had a conversation about this this afternoon. In another quote, asterisk.
Kevin's here.
Oh, hi, honey. In another quote, Forrest insinuated that there won't likely be any legal questions for the finder. So here's my question. Where could Forrest put the chest without a treasure proxy and still be fairly confident that the finder wouldn't have legal issues? No, Shelley, this doesn't get us closer to finding the treasure. That's so cute. He's addressing it. But the answer would probably narrow down the search area significantly. And my question below is just for reference. And he cites the quote from Forrest Fenn. Forrest Fenn, I spent a bunch of money with lawyers to figure out the question about who owns it if it's found on public land, on private property, or on Indian land, and there's all kinds of answers. If it's found in a national park, according to my attorneys, the person that finds it is required to take it to the park superintendent. The rules are different if you find it on private property. If you find it on Indian land, it really gets complicated. Barry Peterson says, and the person who finds it has to deal with all the legal question. Fenn says, well, if there is a legal question, yeah, what if there's not a legal question? My argument is that the person who finds it is going to own it. So we talked about that this afternoon. The simple fact of the matter is, it would be very difficult to own it if it was on private property. It would be the courts would rule in the favor of the person who owns the property. It's very difficult to own it if it's on tribal land, because the tribe has its own government. It's a sovereign state, and it belongs to them, and they're not let you going to go walk away with it. So so then the choices end up with the public lands like BLM, National Forest, and National Park. It could be in a national park, but he's right. You're going to have to take it to the superintendent. The superintendent is going to have to do what we talked about this afternoon. It is abandoned property. He has to go back to the person that owns the property, if the person is still living, and ask the person if they want their property returned. If he says no, that he's transferring title, then it belongs to you. Now, there is actually evidence in the treasure, and that's why you should hope that the treasure is completely intact and it's not a proxy item, because everything you need to own that treasure is in it, even if you don't have the book. Because to own the treasure, all you have to do is have that poem, which is a form of legal document. It's written by the person who hid the treasure. A copy of it is in the olive jar in the treasure chest, and it basically has all the legalese. He said he put it there, and whoever finds it owns it, has the title to it. He transfers the title to it. So I don't think, and that could be, it may be more difficult on national park land because you have to deal with superintendent. I think it's less difficult on national forest land or BLM land. but I wouldn't expect it to be on either private land or tribal land. So the one that makes the most sense to me is national forest land.
And as for a proxy being in the treasure chest, there's been at least twice that I can think of that Forrest talked about how exciting it would be for the finder to just sit down and open that chest and have all that treasure in there, and how they might laugh out loud or what they might do when they found that. So I don't believe there'd be a proxy in there, because he's said that a couple of times.
Okay, so here's the deal. Joel just said he wants to, he said he wanted to call this afternoon and talk about this. So I'm going to open the phone lines for Joel only. Please don't call in. And I have Joel's number here so I can, let's see, him. Yeah. So I'm going to turn the phone lines on long enough.
You could just call Joel.
What?
You could just call
that's
Joel.
a good point. Hang on just a sec. Hold on, Joel. I'm calling you. Dialer. Oh, that's Anita's phone number. Hold on.
So, yeah, and we'll finish the emails.
You go ahead. Let me. I've got to find
Joel.
his phone number first. So,
But while we're waiting, let's go ahead and read this poem that was sent to us by Carl Evans. And this is a poem for Fenn. There is a great man, his name Forrest Fenn. He hides treasures, writes poems using backpack and pen. He's connected to nature, loves the water and skies, catches trout in the river using secret Fenn flies. Has a home near the plaza. People go there each day. Lots of artwork and jewelry in that town, Santa Fe. Folks are happy and smiling. That's the way it should be. Having fun in the sunshine, feeling joyous and free. Time to head to the mountains, going hiking again, giving hope to the people, that great man, Forrest Fenn.
So I think what I'll do, that's such a nice poem. It's very well thought out. Carl, that was beautifully done. And I think if you don't mind, what I'd like to do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay. What I'd like to do, oh, he says, I'm sorry, I didn't let you finish.
Oh, the above poem was written by me and emailed to Forrest Fenn last year. I believe that the treasure will be found by the end of this summer. I will keep you posted. Have a great day.
What I'll do, guys, this is a very nice poem for Forrest. So after the show tonight, I'll post it to our community blog, our community page on the channel.
We got a couple of more super chats
gotta
there.
do that. So $1.99 from RR Romeo.
It's
Romeo.
over confirmation.
It's over. It's confirmation. We don't have to worry about it. We can cut the show down. Let's end the show. It's done.
Oh, we want pictures.
Okay, yeah, we want
Pics
pictures.
or it didn't happen,
Yeah, pics or no.
as they say on the internet. Huck Fenn says, as I alone,
Wait,
I on my own. Okay. As I alone, I on my own accord, and no one else knows safety. He thought he was going to die, didn't want his family and friends bothered.
Yeah, we agree. I mean, you're absolutely right. Okay, Joel, I'm calling you right now.
All right, here we go with Joel Wiki from Minnesota.
Well, I guess I don't really need to call in since it's over.
No. Yeah, somebody already found it.
Treasure
Yeah.
hunt's over.
You know, if it was over, I would want more than $1.99 in Super Chat. You know, if it's over and you got covered, I want some big bucks for that. Okay, so we're
all over it.
Yeah, we're trying to catch up from this afternoon's call. So why don't you, as an attorney who, as opposed to me, as somebody who fakes it on YouTube, what's your position on this matter?
Yeah, so let's start off with, okay, this is general information. This does not constitute legal advice, and I'm not giving anyone legal advice or tax advice.
Okay.
I'm merely wanting to discuss this with everyone in a general way. Okay?
As a civilian just interested in the topic.
Sure. Yeah, let's go with that. Now, with this discrete area of the law revolving around lost and found property, okay, I would argue that Forrest Fenn's treasure chest and what he has done is without precedent. So I don't think that it neatly falls into any category that has previously really existed. Okay, we talked this afternoon, or you talked about this concept of a trove, right? That's an identifiable thing. It could be a coin hoard. It could be buried underground. Traditionally, it was buried underground to hide it from the king. And then it was left there, and then someone found it, and it escheated to the state. So there was a purpose behind that. When it comes to this idea of lost, mislaid, and abandoned property in the United States, and treasure trove as a concept, or things that have been embedded in the ground. Forrest Fenn's treasure chest doesn't fall neatly into any of those categories. And let me explain. It's not a treasure trove in the sense that it doesn't meet the standard criteria for being old enough to be a treasure trove.
Right.
And the person who it belonged to is identified and still living. Okay?
Okay.
It's definitely not mislaid because he knows where it is. It's not lost because it doesn't fit into that category. The other one is abandoned property,
which is the one that I feel it falls under.
Yeah, and the question is whether or not whether it even meets the criteria for abandoned property. And abandonment has elements to it. And I would say that those elements are not met because abandonment is an act by the owner that demonstrates that he or she has given up right to that property. And there's an actual identifiable thing or event that shows that owner has knowingly given up or relinquished their control or ownership over it. And I would argue that has not happened. And the reason I would argue that hasn't happened is because Forrest Fenn has maintained that he knows where the treasure chest is, it's where he put it, and he has stayed involved in the chase to an unusually high degree. And has continued to put out things that seem to indicate, they may be hints or clues to how to find it. That does not sound or look to me like someone who has abandoned this. And that's why I posted earlier that I don't think that he's abandoned the treasure chest to this point. I think that it fits more neatly into what I would call an inter vivos transfer. So during your lifetime, transferring property or the title to property to someone else. So you have the gift and you have the acceptance or receipt of that gift. And it seems to me that what Forrest has laid out, that if you can find it, you can keep it. There's not going to be a legal question about whether the finder owns it. And I think that's because he's included title to it implicitly by granting it to the person that's able to find it. So the whole analysis of lost, mislaid, abandoned, treasure trove, I would argue at this point, I don't think it applies.
All right. So I certainly can't.
How's that for pontificating?
That's what we like. As a matter of fact, I'm going to have that transcribed, and I'm going to put that on our community blog with the qualifier, of course, that it's just for general information. Okay, so I have two questions. Number one, if the framework, and I'm just going to read what Kleberg has written, if the framework of the law of lost and found property is the common law jurisdiction of the United States is based on lost, mislaid, or abandoned, you're saying that in your opinion, it doesn't fall into any of those three categories. Is that correct?
Yeah, and the reason is we know who put it there. We know why. And we know who's going to get it, the person that finds it. This is not lost or mislaid property. This is not all of those lost, mislaid, abandoned. Those arguments are all used to defend the finder's rights against someone else, the owner of the locus in quo,
right,
or the true owner, right? So the true owner generally has a superior right to the item over and above anyone else in the world, okay? And in this case, we know who the true owner is. So we're not trying to argue about this in court of who gets to keep it. I think that's why Forrest says, I don't think there's going to be a legal issue over this when the finder has it. That's my opinion.
Okay, so, and that's a credible opinion coming from an attorney. So I only have one question. How does that change when he passes? And again, I'm not hoping he passes anytime soon. I'm just asking a question. How does all that change when he passes?
So if it does not get found in May, for all of you people who are watching and listening right now and think you're going to find it in May, I still believe in you. So let's say that does happen and he passes and no one has found it. Well, that inter vivos, that's during the lifetime, right? That no longer applies. And it would become like a testamentary trust, like a testamentary transfer. And that does affect a little bit what happens. It really doesn't change the status, in my mind, of the nature of it. Now, in 100 or 1,000 years,
right.
Or if the person that finds it doesn't know about the treasure hunt that Forrest Fenn started, then those other things certainly may apply.
That is, so I'm grateful for the fact that we have an attorney call in and make this argument. In either case, in any of those cases, is it going to be based on what you just said, what you just described, before he passes and after? In either of those cases, how difficult is it going to be for the finder to own the treasure?
I don't think very difficult.
Okay.
But I would reiterate, or maybe I would just emphasize, that people follow in Forrest's footsteps and spend a lot of money with lawyers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed.
Said the lawyer.
You might.
And if you want the advice of who to spend it with,
you'll let us know. Yeah. Okay, so before you go, Kpro pinged me and she said, at Gypsy's Kiss, will Joel give a teaser on the words he got from Forrest that he will be sharing on tomorrow's cow marathon? He has been teasing it on Facebook.
People are going to have to tune in tomorrow to the marathon to find out.
And what time are you going to be on tomorrow?
I'm opening it off.
Oh, okay.
The first one. I think it's noon
Pacific.
West Coast time.
Yeah,
2
noon Pacific
Central.
time. No. Oh, Central, yeah. So it's noon Pacific, 1 o'clock Mountain Standard Time for those of you who are going to be, and we're going to follow you. We're actually going to, we're going to
2
follow
o'clock
you
Central,
on the
3 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah.
Let's figure out all that stuff.
So.
You guys in Britain will have to figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
But I think around 6, 7 in the evening. Saturday. So yeah, Saturday, Cow's channel, Joe Lewicki will be helping start off the whole marathon at 12 noon Pacific time, 1 o'clock Mountain. So make sure you tune in tomorrow for that. And we'll be in the second hour.
Yeah. So it sounds like fun.
Joel. Yeah.
We're looking forward to it. And I think they have guests for every hour of their programming tomorrow. What were you going to say, Joel? I'm sorry.
Well, I was just going to say one other thing regarding the nature of the check and the content that Forrest has put out there, and how this analysis of how it's categorized or how it's understood affects the way that people go about solving it and where they think to look and go to try to find it. And I just have a couple of things that I'd like to reiterate about that.
Okay.
One, I think that making a determination that is really relatively unknown of what Forrest decided to do based on what his attorneys advised him regarding the nature of what he was going to do, I don't think it would be wise to narrow down your location based on that. I do think, because I've heard people say things like they've done things like go into bear closures in a national park.
Yeah.
Don't do that. They've gone into unsafe places. Don't do that. Or they've gone onto Indian land or other places. Don't do that, Okay? Be smart about where you're looking. This is not, I think that's why Forrest can say with confidence there's not going to be a legal issue. If you have to break and enter or go into a place you're not supposed to be, you need to make some serious life changes.
Yeah. We agree.
That's not an appropriate way to be going about what Forrest has done.
We agree with that wholeheartedly. All right, sir. Well, I was going to thank you for calling in, but heck, I called you. We'll need to do this more often. How often are you free on Friday evenings?
Hey, thank you. Thank you so much for allowing me to do so, and I appreciate you guys so much. Have a good rest of the room here. I'm going to be hanging out, listening in.
And we'll see you tomorrow, of course, on the Cow K-Pro Marathon.
Absolutely.
Take care, Joel.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye. So we got another super chat while we were talking.
Not only a great searcher and a great lawyer, but a good man as well, isn't he?
That was another $1.99 from RR. He says he's got pictures.
He's got pictures. Send those pictures to
Send pictures of the treasure chest
at
and
gmail.com.
the treasure inside.
Right. If you have a picture of the olive jar, maybe the turquoise bracelet.
Yeah.
Huck Fenn says, where did he bracelet that he wants back come from? He won it in a pool game with one of the members of the Hilton family.
Hilton?
Was it Hilton?
I don't know. Started with an H. I don't remember now.
No, it's Hilton.
Okay.
Yeah. Or was that
yeah.
or was that the design? No, that was the headdress. Yeah, he won it in a playing pool with one of the members of the Hilton family. Apparently, he had it on his wrist, and the pool game was based on the winning of that.
But originally, it was found at Mesa Verde. The beads were found there, and it was put together, and it was found by Weatherall.
Weatherall, right?
Yeah.
That was one of Weatherall's finds at Mesa Verde.
Harvey, see?
Harvey,
Joel Lewicki knows.
I knew it was.
I knew it started with an H, but it wasn't.
And I knew it was a hotelier.
Yeah, Harvey.
Harvey.
Thank you guys, DeBear and Joel Lewicki and Charles
Harvey,
Clement
not Hilton.
for correcting us.
Sorry, thank you for correcting us. A woman once in pool, full press. Yeah, okay, good. I've been in those kinds of bars, but...
All right, I think it's your turn to read an email.
Okay, so this is from Addie Laddie, and it's thanks to Sassy. And I want to clarify, he's referring to a conversation we had this afternoon. Addie, it wasn't Sassy, it was...
Candy
D'Amico, that brought this up. He says, hi, Toby and Shelley. Sorry I missed your show earlier. Please share this email. I would like to thank Sassy for bringing up my eBay purchase for $3,500. That, again, it wasn't Sassy, it was Candy. I feel bad for me too, kinda, but I made the choice. I always have, that's what I like. I like
personal responsibility.
Personal responsibility. But I made the choice. I always have a game plan going in, and I'm still confident in getting that money back long term. But I think we need, it sounds like it was a little bit of a scam. But I think we need to share and help each other to find the treasure. We agree, which is something that Candy was pointing out this afternoon. It still fits my solve, which sounds crazy, but so far my chase has been one big lesson in failing, and that's okay. I like it. Personally,
Yeah, you can't take risks in life without failing now and then.
We said that last week. The one characteristic common to all risk takers is they fail more often than they succeed. The second characteristic is they don't let that stop them.
Persistence, yeah, they keep doing it.
The bronze can literally make us cold, just like money and almost any river crossing in the Rockies. Perhaps the winning solve will have been the biggest loser of the whole bunch in the end. Forrest always tried for D's in school. Remember that backwards bicycle. How can I forget it? I don't mean that they will have taken the most boots on the grounds or spent the most dollars, but they will have crossed many boundaries that most dare to go. Some boundaries should be crossed. There are ways to be daring that don't put us in life-threatening situations. Most are done anonymously for safety, but it's fun to see what happens. Sometimes it leads me further, and sometimes it doesn't. That's why my solve in my free book is all about. That's what my solve in my free book is all about. I have had death threats, by the way, for sharing my solve. How does that work? I will gladly share it for those interested. I give props to Sassy, that should be for Candy, for putting herself out there, although Sassy did as well. Thanks again. By the way, my solve took me from Minnesota to Montana, Montana to New Mexico. It's a Montana park. It's in a Montana park area now, but we'll probably go back to New Mexico again. While always trying to stay in Yellowstone. How is that for confusing? Very.
Yeah.
Your friend Landon. So, yeah, I wanted to read that just to make sure we didn't give credit to the right people.
Another $10 from Huck Fenn, and he would like a discussion on possibilities of Forrest Fenn saying he was almost umbilically connected to the special place.
We did have a conversation about that, Huck, and the way we felt about it is he was speaking in a, and I'm hesitant to use this with Fenn, a spiritual, at least a metaphorical, maybe spiritual way, and that he had a connection with that special place that was so...
it made it feel like home.
Yeah, exactly. That it was kind of
A mother's
I mean,
home feels like home.
That phrase isn't often used, that phrase that I'm umbilically connected to something, because people don't think in that way. But in the olden days, people used to say, I'm umbilically connected to that. And it was a phrase in common usage. And I think that's what he was doing. He was trying to express how spiritually connected he feels to that location, even though it's not in his backyard.
He says
right?
Not a Skippy reference?
I don't think so. I don't think
know
it
how
is.
it would be. They weren't twins.
Yeah. I think if they had been twins and middle children with brothers, they're your heroes, but they don't, generally speaking, want to have anything to do with you. That's just kind of the way it is.
Older brothers. Another $9.99 from Laddie Addy, taking part in our Super Chat Challenge tonight with the yellow box.
Thank you, Laddie. That's very kind
Golden
of you. We're glad.
yellow.
Thank you for that very nice
Golden.
email, by the way.
We are golden.
Your turn.
Oh, my turn again. All righty. This is from Greg, I think. GL Cannon. Is Greg?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, GL Cannon.
Right. J.D. Salinger died on January 27th, 2010. So we know the exact date Fenn was in Borders bookstore, assuming you believe Forrest really was in a bookstore and this isn't just some kind of a parable. Well, to that, Cynthia did tell us that, weren't they driving together, or he pointed out that's where the bookstore used to be that I wrote about in the book?
Yes.
So just take that as a little extra piece of information on that he pointed to the place where the bookstore used to be before it was closed down, and told Cynthia that that's the bookstore he had been talking about. So we believe that it did exist. Mm-hmm. Although he may have embellished the story in some ways. We don't know for sure. Forrest was there the day before Salinger died, 1/26/2010, according to the book, the Thrill of the Chase story, yes. Given that the Thrill of the Chase book was published in 2010, this seems like an almost last-second addition to his memoir. Well, he did kind of gather a bunch of stories he had already written, re-edit, and then tacked on a front and a back, basically, when he finished putting it together. And given what Fenn tells us in this chapter, something seems improbable about it. On page 14 of this chapter, Fenn seems to say Salinger inspired him to write his own autobiography. But surely by January 2010, it would have been already written or nearly completed and ready for publishing. As I said, he took stories that he had published in different places, including scrapbooks or newspaper articles, brought them all together, and then added a front and a back, which is very common for people who write books in this way. Toby, I am reminded of your video where you proposed that Fenn did not hide the chest in 2010, but well before that, and you gave good arguments for it. So why would Forrest create and add this important literature chapter to The Thrill of the Chase based on a 2010 event in his life? Is the word borders a clue? And why bring up Robert Redford? The Outlaw Trail goes through all 4 search states, but only a small portion of Colorado, right along the edge, the western border, in 2 places. See map on page 8, the Outlaw Trail. Just a few thoughts. GL Cannon in Houston.
Wow, that's more than a few thoughts, GL. So a couple of things. There is nothing that would have prevented him so let me just address that one question. The concept that he may not have hidden it in 2010. He could have hidden in 2003 and then decided to publish the book. Those two things are completely independent. Hiding the treasure and publishing the book were two different things. Now, we're assuming that he hid the treasure in the summer of 2009 or 2010, published the book in 2010. But those two things, he could have hidden the treasure at any time and then published the book. That was the point that we were trying to make. Whether or not he hid it in 2003, we just thought that would give him the freedom to fly where he wanted to. He had stories about it that fit, etc., etc. Well, we don't know necessarily that we have evidence that he hid it any time other than 2010. The only evidence that we have for certain is that he published the book in 2010, letting the world know the treasure existed at that point. That's the difference, I think, is there's a point at which he decided in August of 2010 that he was going to make this public. How that relates to the treasure, we don't exactly know, because we don't know when he hid it specifically. So, my turn.
Tamara Lamb says, in the Cody interview that Davio shared, Forrest says he was almost umbilically attached with a friend in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, see, I think when he uses that phrase, he's describing a spiritual, because he says he's not religious, but he is spiritual. He's describing a spiritual connection to that individual or to that location, rather than something that could be something that one could define in a physical way. So this is entitled Amazing Grace Bagpipes, YouTube, Jingo, from Jingo Bingo. He says, hey, Toby and Shelley, could you please consider playing this special YouTube video and song for all of us as a memorial song in honor and respect for those who have died tragically and their surviving families, looking for the Fenn treasure chest on any one of your upcoming shows. It also has beautiful mountain and stream background, and she is wearing a gold-colored skirt. Thanks, God bless, love your show, Jingo Bingo. So, Jingo, the most that I can do, I can't play that video, and the reason is it's covered by both YouTube and United States copyright law, and it would get us in trouble if we were to play it on our show. What I can do, though, and I'd be happy to do that, it really is a beautiful playing of Amazing Grace with the bagpipes. But what I can do is I'll put the link both in the description box below, and I'll put it on our community blog, our YouTube channel's community blog. That's as far as I can go with that. Otherwise, I get in trouble with YouTube.
Okie dokie. This is titled Page 133, The Thrill of the Chase Map, from, I don't know if it's Jarl or Jarl, it's J-A-R-L.
Jarl.
Pearson. I'm going to go with Jarl because Pearson seems like the kind of name where it would be kind of Scandinavian.
Scandinavian.
Shelley/Toby. Jarl from Iowa here. Has the blurry map on page 133 in The Thrill of the Chase been considered much? It took me a while to figure out which map it was. Not sure why. I can say that it's an older one, but not sure how old. It actually has a portion of another state in it, so I'm thinking it's an early formative territory map/survey. It has me focusing on a specific area, though people have already been all over it, because it follows the poem and has nuggets, a coin, and the frog on it. Not that that is a definitive clue or hint, or is it? It has me reevaluating for sure. I have at least 4 solutions I'm piecing together, 2 in Montana and 2 in New Mexico. I also have minor suspect bits in the other search area states, but none of which is tantalizing enough, but I keep them on file. Food question. What is a good recipe for tamale filling? Something that works for beef or pork or chicken. Thanks.
So the map is a map of New Mexico that was drawn in the 1890s, and there are 2 or 3 variations of it. But if you do a Google search for New Mexico Territory Map 1895, you can find them. I don't think it has any other states on it. I think it's the and you can tell by the way the counties are made on it. So yeah, look up New Mexico Territory 1895 map. Jason Younis, so Jason just called, and I think he's calling about a voicemail that I left him. Jason, are you calling about the show or the voicemail?
I am terribly sorry.
So the reason I left a voicemail for Jason, it's okay, maybe you can answer it. We're of course making plans to go to the potluck at Fenndango, and I wanted to know, Jason, has a lot of friends, and I left him a voicemail asking if he wanted to join us on that. I think it's a Saturday afternoon. So he was calling back to answer that question. Forgot that we do a show on Friday night. So now's your choice. They're in front of all your friends right now. So will you be joining us at the potluck?
Yes, barring a major show popping up.
Yeah.
Which I don't see happening. I would love to be there. I think it's going to be a great time.
All right, yeah, we'll just leave for my.
I love being able to catch up with everybody.
And if you want to make a dish, it is a potluck. The people that bring. So you remember that book that Cynthia was putting together with Fenn's signature, and she's having a bunch
with the signatures.
Yeah. So if you bring a pot with you, a dish with you, you get 2 tickets to the free raffle drawing instead of just 1. So,
ooh, very nice.
Yeah.
So
we've done something like that in the past.
Yeah.
So
I'm doing pozole.
It reminds me of the old days because that's where the Delgados used to get together for the family picnic.
Exactly. It'll be almost the same location for that we used to go to the family picnic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad. I didn't mean to put you under pressure, but I realized you're not calling. I didn't realize. So the phone line, the smart line, is off. That's why you got through, because you called my direct number.
Gotcha.
So, okay.
Gotcha. Well, hi to all my friends tonight. I hope you guys are having a good time.
Well,
and
they're all
Dad,
shouting
check
out.
in with me. I got a VIP ticket for you from the Thunderbirds.
For me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, isn't
for
that
Sunday?
tomorrow?
What day?
Yes.
Oh, what time?
Don't tell me what time.
Well, the Thunderbirds will be on at 3. The gates open at Kirtland at 9 at the Eubank entrance.
We're committed to a marathon show tomorrow.
Oh, 1 hour though.
Okay.
You could go after.
So if you have somebody else that can use it, please feel free. I'm sorry, I'm going to miss it.
No problem.
All right.
All right, you guys have a good night.
You too. Love you. Bye.
Yes.
Bye.
Okay, well, see, we killed 2 birds with 1 stone there. Jason
Killing
got to say
birds?
hi. Yeah.
Killing birds.
That's good. So he can join us. We're going to have we can all 4 go. That'll be cool.
yeah.
the potluck.
Oh yeah, the potluck. Yeah.
Okay.
Inside the air show? No.
I know. I wish I could go to the air show.
Oh well. You can look up in the sky just like everybody else.
Space Force Thunderbirds. Don't start on that Space Force thing with me. Okay, my turn.
Yes, I am out.
Wait. Did I address the question? What was the?
Oh,
last one?
we need to know how to make tamales.
Oh, so
Didn't you have that recipe book?
you can do. Please, I'm like a tamale master. You want some of my hot tamale?
Then why do you keep ordering from Hot Tamales?
Because they're so good and it's easy to make. So for filling, the choices are beef, pork, or chicken. Although you can find places that put sweet fillings in them. The traditional is pork. And what you do is you boil the pork until it's falling apart, until you can shred it. And you save the juice because you're going to use that juice when you make your masa. And then you take that shredded pork and you put it in a large frying pan. You buy a package of red powdered chili. You mix it with some water, so it's about the thickness of milk. And you add that to the frying pan and you let that simmer at a very low heat for about an hour. And that's how you make your filling. And you can do that with chicken, you can do that with beef, or you can do that with pork. The chili, it determines the heat. Dang it! I just thought I turned that off. Hang on a second. Hold on. 850.
Don't see happening. I would love to be there. I think it's going to be a great time.
Who is this?
Hello.
Hello. Turn off your cell. Scott, do me a favor. So I'm going to hang up, but I'm going to call you back, okay? Because I'm right, and we're still in reading our emails. But I'm going to call this number. I have your number in front of me. I'll call you back in a few minutes, okay?
Thank you.
My pleasure. Okay, why is that this time? Okay, so remind me to call that 850 number back.
Okay.
All right.
I'm sure we'll be reminded.
Okay,
Tamales.
tamales.
Just do yourself a favor. Go to this restaurant in Rio Rancho called Hot Tamales and just eat there.
No, make your tamales. Tamales are. a great accomplishment to get the hojas and get your masa with your masa harina and the
Once you made them and you know how much lard is in there, you may not eat them.
Now, they're worth, we don't have them all the time. I usually make them for the holidays. But yeah. So the traditional is pork, but you can make them with beef or chicken. They will taste slightly different. Some people, when they make the chicken use green chili instead of the red chili. So, but your choice. And the chili determines the heat, the spiciness. So if you get a moderate red chili, then it's not so spicy. We had some red chili at Hot Tamales one time.
Yeah, well, they get it fresh, and so you never know if it's going to be okay or super hot.
We literally could not finish the meal, and Shelley and Kevin went back a couple of weeks later, and they said, yeah, we didn't know. Everybody was complaining.
But when you had them at your housewarming, they were good, right?
No, the ones at the housewarming were perfect.
Yeah.
They were perfect.
Some people said they were pretty spicy, but most people...
Really?
Kevin ate 3 of them, so they couldn't have been too bad.
Yeah, nobody turned away at the end of the night. Nobody said, no, I don't want any more of those. I was easy to give those away. So this one is entitled, I Called In Last Night. It's from David Joush. Hello, Toby and Shelley. I called in last night and we talked briefly about how I am new to the search and I'm already feeling discouraged because I feel like other have a 9-year head start. I'm going to keep with it while I read The Thrill of the Chase, but not sure after that. Read it. Everybody's in the same place.
We go through this every year.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Anyway, Toby, I really appreciate your approach to most things, Forrest Fenn. I have looked up your background and I'm impressed. I just watched a video of yours from a year ago where you basically rule out national forest land because of the legal issues for the finder. That said, what type of land do you feel most likely the type Forrest Fenn planted his trove? I, like you, only believe the treasure could be in New Mexico. I have access to mapping software through my job. Ooh, we need to talk. And can already see it in my head. I can narrow down the area between Colorado state line and Santa Fe, then apply the 5,000-10,200 foot filter, then the type of land it's most likely on, then within 2 miles of roads, parking areas. There can't be many places or a huge space. Ooh, that's that Aegis software.
Oh,
he has access to.
I thought it
Am I
was
thinking too logically? I'm just trying to get a head start
too
on my
logically.
search. No, there is no such thing as thinking too logically.
No.
Before it arrives, what do you think? Thank you. I think you're on the right track for a head start. I wouldn't worry about. You're not 9 years behind. We're all just kind of at the same place. You can tell by the conversation.
Full
that we
Press
have.
Says, "What's a 9-year head start on nothing?"
Yeah, exactly. And I want to correct what you said. I did not rule out national forests. To some extent, I rule out national parks only because I think it's more difficult for the finder. But national forests are my #1 location. I feel like it's a national forest, and I think so. There aren't national parks. There aren't any national parks in the Rockies in northern New Mexico. The national parks or national monuments are over to the west, and one to the east. But in the Rockies, it's all national forest. I'm sorry, north of Santa Fe, it's all national forest, exclusive of the tribal lands, and there's a lot of private land so you can, on your mapping software, you can exclude anything that's private or grant land. You can exclude anything that's tribal land, and you can focus on national forest land. And send me that map, and I'll tell you whether or not it's correctly put together.
Somebody's asking, RR is asking, what's Fenny? Fenny is, we determined that by when he did an interview one time, and he talked about, if I were standing where the treasure was, I would see pine trees, I would see animals. What else did he say he would see?
Yeah.
Or hear? Those things. So we always look for pine trees and water. Because water's mentioned so often in the poem.
So we started that whole thing about it's not fenny enough. And fenny enough means that you're generally speaking, in a place where there's coniferous trees and there's flowing water. And kind of...
There's a few, there's a pine tree or two here.
So then you start feeling like you're in a place where you'd go fishing, a place where you'd say it's a special place. New Mexico has a lot of beautiful territory, but a lot of it's in high desert. And high desert, to me, as beautiful as it is to some people, because I've been out in the desert and I can spend days literally exploring the desert, but it's not Fenny to me. It's not. It doesn't feel Fenny to me. Fenny to me feels like coniferous trees and clear running streams with brown trout and flowing grasses. You know. He's pretty good.
Cimarron's very Fenny.
Yeah, Cimarron is very Fenny. Part of the Rio Chama is very Fenny. The area, the Rio de los Pinos, is very Fenny.
If we don't see pine trees, then we're like, nope.
No, not here. Did I get more than you?
Yeah, but that's a short one.
Okay.
And you can do the accents.
So the subject line is answers, and this is from Guy Ward. He says, "G'day from Winky, South." I can't do it.
G'day.
G'day from Winky,
Winky,
South Australia. Relevant to Hump Day Hoedown and answers discussion on the map poem page that I have.
Winky.
What?
I was winking.
Oh.
I was talking.
On the map poem page that I have, answer is singular, not answers. On the map poem page I have, answers is singular. Don't know which is earlier or later map or transcribed incorrectly. There are at least, so the map that you're talking about, this is not the one in The Thrill of the Chase. The one that Guy is talking about is the map that was included in Too Far to Walk. And there are at least 3 distinct variations of that map with various mistakes on them. So
I think he's focused on the word answer, though, right?
And there were 2 variations with answers, right? There was one other one. We went through this a couple of months ago.
It doesn't really change the meaning.
Yeah, it doesn't change the meaning.
If it did, he would have corrected it.
And I'm gonna suggest you stick with the poem that's in The Thrill of the Chase, which has the plural answers. The ones on that Thrill of the Chase map were mistakes made by the publisher. Okay.
And that's it for emails. Yay!
Okay, first I got to
like
do.
a long time to get through.
We got a bunch of text messages. Do we go back to the text messages?
I guess we'll have to.
Oh my God. Ew.
Ooh. Ooh, ooh.
Okay, hi Toby and Shelley. Just wanted to know if you got the text of the Fenn oil portrait.
We didn't.
No, we got the email message, but we didn't get any image associated with it. So yeah, I think we addressed that.
We talked about it earlier today.
We talked about it. We talked about it on Wednesday night's show, but we didn't get the image. We got the explanation and all the concept behind it, but we didn't get any image associated with it. So that's what we need. Let's see, no transcription. Forrest always said, if someone finds that treasure, I will know. How can the general public know that someone has found the treasure other than hearing it because they couldn't keep it from getting blown out of proportion? Is this going to set the chase ablaze eventually, or will people just start laying down and giving up on everything? So Forrest's expectation is that whoever finds the treasure will inform him. And Forrest will ask for evidence, which is rational, and it could be the bracelet, or it could be a photograph of the bracelet on a newspaper from that today. So Forrest has the same problem we all have. People are going to say there was someone in tonight's that it's said that it's over, right? We want evidence, and at some point, Forrest is going to be out of the picture if the treasure is found after his passing. And what we in the community have to do is make sure that and there will be, they do it now, where Forrest can say it's not there. I can imagine after Forrest's passing, we are going to get dozens, if not hundreds of people claiming they found the treasure. We want evidence. If they can't provide evidence, then we ignore them. That's the only thing we can do as a community. They've got to provide evidence.
But we thank them for their super chat.
Right. We can't just continue to say that the treasure has been found, allow people to say it's been found, and not ask for evidence. I mean, I had a discussion with someone who claims that they solved the poem, right? They don't have the treasure. They haven't been boots on the ground, but they solved the poem. There is no, the only evidence of you solving the poem is a photograph of you holding the treasure, or a photograph of pieces of the treasure on today's newspaper if you don't want to be in the picture. There's no such thing as I've solved the poem, but I don't have the treasure. That's not, there is no evidence that can be true. Yata e from DJ
Good night,
Navatek.
Big Whoopie.
Big Whoopie is leaving us. Yata e. Yata e. DJ Navatek here from Gallup. I just got my drone today. Yes, I hope it was the Mavic Air. Great drone. Did you register your drone with the FAA? Yes, because that's an easy way to get it back if you ever have a flyaway. The laws are hard to interpret. Flying your drone in the National Forest. It's okay to fly it in the National Forest. It is not okay. You can't, when it comes to national parks, you can't land or take off in the park. You can fly it over the park, but each national park we've discovered has its own rules. In the case of Yellowstone, you have to fly at least above 1,000 feet. Well, the maximum the FAA allows you to fly is 400 feet. So there's a catch-22 there that they play with you. But you can fly in the National Forest. You can fly on BLM land. Can you shed some light on flying a drone in a national forest? Yes, I've done it a lot. BLM. I have flown in BLM land. Thank you, Shelley and Toby. Love you guys. Second question, how can I get in contact with you if I'm in the neighborhood for coffee, beer, whiskey, or your choice? The best way, so I get an immediate notification when you send a text to this number or you send us an email to a Gypsy's Kiss. So in either case, if you find yourself in the area, let us know. Just give us enough time. We don't live together. We live apart.
Jason didn't give him any time.
Yeah.
Just, here, have a ticket
Have
for
a ticket.
tomorrow.
Have a ticket.
Got
I'm
plans.
sorry I missed that. Dadgummit. So, I recommend it costs you $5. Register your drone, put your phone number on it. And that way, if you ever have a flyaway, people are really good about getting it back. And number two, you can't land or take off in national parks, but every national park has rules as to the altitude, and they make it really difficult. National forest land you can fly over, and BLM land you can fly over. Do not, as you probably know, fly over tribal land without written permission. Okay, and don't forget that national parks includes 21 different types of land that they administer. So a national monument, a national, what's the place? Chaco Canyon. Oh, that's a monument. So yeah, don't fly over Chaco Canyon. Anything that is administered by the national park. Stay away from.
Airports and military bases.
Your drone will do that for you. You can't.
Well, the new ones do.
Yeah, the new ones do. If you have a new drone, that's part of the DJI software.
Milan Fenner says, what happens to this show and similar YouTube shows when it's over? It gets processed by YouTube and then it goes right up on our channel and stays there.
Wait, is he talking
perpetuity.
Is he talking about the treasure? When the treasure hunt is over?
No, what happens to this show and similar YouTube shows when it's over? Oh, when it's over. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's up to the individual.
Yeah.
If you're smart, you will have a backup plan for changing the topic, but using all this wonderful technology.
And we're working on that. And I actually have a membership group that I'm putting together for the softer side, and a special group for men only called the Tool Shed. So I'll be talking more about that in the next week or so, and I'll be looking for that to come out. But yeah, we're all going to have a backup plan to do something else. We have another super chat. From RR, who says, definitely solved. Thank you for this super chat.
Hey, I'm expecting more money in our super chat if this thing is solved, brother. Candy says there is no such thing as failure.
It's just a learning experience.
I've had a bunch of learning experiences in my life. Your muse sending the requested craft room photos. I'm also a mermaid.
I'm using the craft room.
Ooh, send those pictures and make sure they are safe for sharing with our
safe for work.
Safe for work. My name is Genevra. I am in Florida. Will be boots on the ground in July. My question is, what do New Mexico people think of when they hear desert? Haven't we answered this question before?
No water.
Yeah, no water. Fenn says it's not in the desert, but in the mountains. But my closest mountain is Magic Mountain. So for me, the Abiquiu and Rio Chama area is mountain. But I feel like we have. But do you consider that area desert? No, we don't consider that area desert. New Mexico is, northern New Mexico is equally divided on the far west and the far east into what is referred to as high desert. You're still at 5,000 feet. Deserts are lower, right? So we refer to it as high desert. It's the result of something that happened 150 million years ago. Then in the middle, there is a stretch of the Rocky Mountains. The area that you're describing is on the western edge of those Rocky Mountains, the Rio Chama. So you will see the difference. As a matter of fact, if you're driving from Florida, actually if you're flying from Florida, you're going to pass over a lot of high desert, and you'll be able to see the difference. And the reason is, when you're standing in the middle of a high desert, you can see miles and miles. And the reason is all the scrub is lower than your eyes, right? All the foliage, kind of like here, is shorter than you are. You're in the high desert. If it starts getting higher than you, you're in the coniferous pine and you're in the mountains, right? It's real easy to tell. You'll see when you get out here. Or if the mud is red. From 864, have you explored the idea of blaze being white paint on a rock? How long would that remain in an isolated area with UV, snow, and rain? We have a sense that it could be a white, that it has more permanence.
We need to call Scott back.
Okay. That it has more permanence, and the reason is the white paint wouldn't, the weather between the sun, the environment wouldn't let it last long. There's no paint that's There's no paint that's going to survive the environment. Okay, let's call. Here's Scott. So, Scott, we're calling you right now. You were not speaking to Joe. This is afternoon. You were talking to Scott from Oklahoma City. Okay. Yes. Okay, Scott, we're calling you.
Sorry it took so long.
Scott.
Hey, Scott, it's Toby and Shelley.
Yeah, I just had a quick question.
Okay, go ahead.
About the opinion you might have. Is the poem structured in such a way that the words mean precisely what they say, or do you believe he used substitutes for, let's say he wrote the poem once and then he began substituting other words?
I think that would have been hard. I think that would have been a hard way to write the poem and give it the rhyme and meter that a poem would require to be a poem. I think what he did was decided upon the rhyme and the meter that he wanted, and then picked the words rather than substituted, picked precisely the words that would give him that rhyme and meter, and were close enough to, when you do something like begin at where warm waters halt, you have to assume that when he says warm, that he means something that you could look up in a dictionary, waters that you could look in a dictionary, and halt. Because if he's substituting stuff, then we are way, way far off from being anywhere near this stuff. I think what we have to assume is that the riddle is not in each of the individual words, that it is the sentence that the words make up that is the riddle. So when he says, not too far, but too far to walk, I believe that each of the words mean what they're supposed to, dictionary-wise. It's the riddle behind that we have to figure out.
Huh. Okay, well, the reason I was asking that question was he said there are no codes in the poem.
Any codes or ciphers, yeah.
And I thought, well, what's the definition of that? And I looked up one of the definitions: a system of words, letters, figures, or other symbols substituted for other words,
right,
letters, etc., especially for the purpose of secrecy.
Yes. So
the verb it would be convert the words of a message into a particular code in order to convey a secret meaning.
Right.
Isn't that what we have here?
Well, it is no, and the reason is when you're encoding or enciphering something, you're doing a literal translation, right? I guess it's not literal; it's a figurative translation, a representation, right? You're converting a letter into a number or another letter, right? And that's what the encoding is, and you have to have a key for that. I think to a lesser extent, it is possible that you could substitute words, but when you encode something, you've made it completely insensible, right, from from a English language perspective. So if I were to say use a substitution cipher, and I were to move the cipher 13 so that A equals M, when I write that out with that cipher, what's in that is completely decipherable. I mean, it can't be understood without the key. The difference, I think, is that when you read the poem, it makes sense. You know, there is no enciphering going on, encoding going on, because you can read it and it makes relative sense to us. I mean, we can understand the story. What we're not getting, of course, is what the riddles mean when he says, begin at where warm waters halt. We all have, each of us has our own definition of that particular riddle. And we can all debate it. It was the conversation I was having with Candy. So I don't think the words are encoded. I don't think there's substitution in there.
Could a word that sounds like a particular word that he's written in the poem, could the spelling be changed and yet it sounds precisely the same as, to our ear anyway, as the word he writes in the poem?
Yeah, like a homonym. You mean like a homonym? It is possible, yeah. But I went through a phase, and I think other people have done this, where they went and they took the words, if you put them in an anagram app, you can come. So if you can take the word halt and put it in anagram, you come back with the options. I don't think there are any options in English anyway.
No, I don't mean anagrams. I mean a different spelling that sounds
like two C's.
Has the exact same.
It's two C's.
I see.
It doesn't have the same meaning, but it sounds exactly like it.
Well, he kind of does that in the poem with walk and halt, right? He does the only time the only time that walk and halt rhyme is when somebody from Central Texas says it. You listen to him and it rhymes perfectly in the English language.
I found a word that he uses that you and I would normally say or.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, for. And I listened to him in an interview one time, and he used the word for, but he said far.
Far, right. Yeah. So I think there could be, someone has to, you may have to accommodate the fact that he speaks with an accent and that maybe he writes with the accent. He certainly took advantage of it in the poem when he attempts to rhyme halt and walk. Those don't necessarily rhyme, but they're close enough if you say them the way that Fenn does, that he can get away with it.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. I don't know that I totally agree.
No, and that's why we have you call in. You're not supposed to agree. You're supposed to express your thoughts. You're supposed to express your thoughts whether or not. Sassy points out one of those examples of a homonym, root, as in the tree, or route, as in driving in a direction, right, on a road.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I think I have never looked at it that way, but there's, the longest word in this, I was doing this analysis this afternoon, the longest word in this poem is 9 letters long, treasures. It means all the words are less than that. And when you start using when you have a lot of words with 4 or 5 letters, you don't get a lot of options for those words. I haven't found any. As a matter of fact, I can honestly say I haven't found some. I'd be interested, now that you mention it, if you have found some. That
send us your homonyms.
Well, I have.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question that doesn't belong to my clues, because I don't want to tell you what that word is.
That's fair.
But why in the last sentence did he say, I give you title to the gold, instead of saying the trove or the treasure?
Well, for one thing, it rhymes with cold.
So does trove.
Trove doesn't. No. Trove doesn't. So he said, I give you title to the gold. He's got to deal with the fact that he's got to rhyme it with cold. Trove is not does not rhyme with cold. But I don't think, I think, again, if you were to argue the case in court, there's no court that's going to say, wait a minute, he was only referring to the gold bullion and the gold coins. We get to keep the other stuff. I don't think that's how he planned it. I think his plan is that the person who can pick up the chest, takes the chest with them, along with all the contents in the chest. And I don't think...
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I found something somewhere where he said, if you find the chest, you get everything that's in it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's always talked about it in the context of the greater whole, the box, as well as the contents of the box. I can't imagine that he would intentionally say, well, I'm going to have you go look at this treasure, but you have to leave the box, all the trinkets that aren't made of gold, including, by the way, the silver bracelet, which has no gold in it, and the large emerald, but you can take the gold bullion and the gold coins. I don't think that was his plan. I think he was just, poetic license. He needed something to ride with cold, and he had already used trove in the stanza before that.
I believe that one thing that confuses a lot of people, and it confused me for a long time, is when you read the very first sentence, and he says, "As I have gone," not the first sentence. Sorry. The first clue.
Oh, the first clue is begin at where
water halts.
Right.
And I've even heard you say this, and everybody says it all the time. They say that as warm water halts. And it seems to me they're two totally different things, because one's plural and one's singular.
Yeah. I'm very clear about what I believe the first clue to be, and that is begin at where warm waters halt and take it in the canyon down. That to me is the first clue.
Yeah,
I've never used the word, if I have said halts, it was a mistake. The plural is in the warm waters.
Earlier tonight you actually said where warm waters halt.
Halts with an S.
Sorry, where warm water halts.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
I know what you're saying. That would have been my mistake then. I read it exactly the way it is in the poem.
Okay, so everything in the poem is precise. The language is precise.
I would say if there were the words, I think the words mean what they're supposed to mean. I think the riddle is in the combination of the words in the sentence.
So why did he at one time say to please excuse him for his poor spelling and his poor punctuation?
Well, because there are spelling and punctuation errors in the book.
In the book, yes, but are there any in the poem?
Not to the best of my knowledge, not unless the only way there could be a spelling error is if he took a word that he completely... No, there are no spelling errors in the poem. It's too...
And do you have any views? Do you have any views on why the first stanza is very oddly worded, and the rest of it doesn't seem to be oddly worded?
Yeah, if you look at our video called "The Poem is a Sandwich," we think the first stanza is part of the legal contract that he's trying to establish, and he finishes it up in stanzas 5 and 6. What the first stanza does is it establishes his sanity and his ownership, and that he was hiding it of his own free will. That's all legalese in that first stanza.
Very good. I didn't think about that. I called in earlier today on your show, and we were talking about trove, and I heard you say later, we hope Joe calls back in.
Well, you did.
I thought, is he getting mixed up with Joe?
I thought you were Joe Treasure Hunter. That's what it was.
Oh, I see. No, I'm the attorney from Oklahoma City who called in a couple nights ago. We were talking about bridges and high water and all that.
Right. Yeah, I do remember that.
Okay. Now I'm straight on everything. That'll help me a lot, and I really appreciate it. I really do. I love your show.
Thank you very much. We love that you call in.
Thank you.
You have a good evening. So
you too. Bye-bye.
You take care. So,
a couple of 99 center super chatters.
I'll give you two.
From Will H.
And
Michael Hoole's in the room.
Did he give us a super chat?
No, but he's in the room.
Michael Hoole. I promised him I was going to change this.
Oh, that's right. He said he wanted a Canadian song or something.
Did Michael Houle tell us what song you wanted? I know you.
Something about Canada.
Yeah. Oh, Canada.
No, it wasn't the national anthem, but it was something about Canada.
Let's see. I got one more text message from Sherry in Pennsylvania. We talked to her this afternoon, didn't we? Okay, Sherry from Pennsylvania. Hi, Toby and Shelley. I've been trying to figure out how to super chat, but can't figure it out, so I can donate. Don't worry about it. Sorry. Anyway, it's my birthday. Happy birthday.
Whose?
Sherry.
Sassy Sherry?
No, this is
different Sherry?
Shari.
Oh,
Like
well,
the
happy
one with
birthday,
happy
Sherry.
birthday. And I was hoping you could
And
answer
Mr.
a question.
President. Go ahead.
She wants me to sing happy birthday to her.
Aw.
No, I'm just teasing. She said you could answer a question. Do you think the canyon down has only one way in and the same way out? So that's why Fenn knows some searchers have gone past it. If there were two ways in and out, then how would you know that they were past it? Thanks. Sherry from Pennsylvania. If
Plain
someone
Canada.
finds the Fenn's treasure, I hope you and Shelley hide one so we can all then find.
Ours would be much easier to find.
So canyon down is very specific. A canyon down implies that you have to, from where warm water's halt, go down the canyon and get to the next point, which is the home of Brown, put in below the home of Brown. The expectation, and he said what he did is he walked in and out twice. Right, so the expectation is that wherever he parked that car, you're going to walk down, recover the treasure, hopefully pick it up in one fell swoop rather than two of them, and walk back to your car. So I don't think you're going to head right back down the canyon to another location from that point. It's a round trip. It's a round trip, for lack of a better way to describe it. Okay, so we have not taken phone calls. I'm done with text. Do you want to hang
we
around?
called two people.
Well, I did, but we've had some.
And
other people.
we talked to Jason too. Raise your hand if you want to call in.
So, do you want us to open? How about another half hour for phone calls?
Oh boy. Okay.
So we have 212 people in the room, and they haven't had a chance to call in.
All right.
So I'm going to open up the phone
Our
lines.
little mini marathon going on tonight for all you super chat challengers.
Super chat, you deserve this.
That's
you know
right.
what? For the amount of super chat that we've gotten, they deserve this.
That's true.
So.
That is true. Give them a cha-ching and a cowbell.
Okay, phone lines are open. 866-597-9901, and they are wasting no time. Hey, you've reached Toby and Shelley. What's your name? Where are you calling from? And what's your observation?
I'm the anonymous calling back, and I'm from Never Never Land.
Mm-hmm.
And my observation goes back to the simple, in-your-face, bold statements that Fenn is doing and playing his games with us all along. Wanted to go back and touch on a few things.
Go ahead.
Primarily with the talk of the trove. It kind of makes me wonder, like you said before, maybe he did hide this years and years ago, long before the publishing of the book. Mm-hmm. Maybe even so far back, possibly, to allow that 30-year span or 30-plus year span
to run out,
kick in, so he actually call it a trove. Exactly, they already have it in play. But also, too, it got me thinking, like I said a while back, what if these clues don't open up until a certain time has passed? That's why it's difficult to find. Hypothetically, let's say, glaciers melting, rock formation, etc. Things are changing, of course. But what if there's a particular time that he would know about because of his intense studies, being an amateur archaeologist, and knowing how the mountains would shift or move and how geographic formations would change over time? What would it be 50 years from now? Mm-hmm. Could we talk to, let's say, a scientific engineer of the mountains, for example, somebody who's in that realm that would be able to say, well, this would change. These would be the new features. Let's talk 50 years down the road. Let's pretend we never heard anything of this before, and then we're all 50 years older. What have we learned in life? How could we apply it?
Mm-hmm. So, a couple of things. So, the first is, hang on, I have to go back to a thought that I have. I was distracted by something. So the first is that there is a certain amount of entropy that's going to occur on this planet, right? In the universe, but on this planet. So I think the problem with that is it goes straight from entropy. Entropy is a factor in the chaos theory. And I think the problem is you couldn't speak to a geologist and say, what's it going to look like in 50 years? Because he would say that the chaos theory applies and that he couldn't predict it. Let's say, for example, he starts describing a mountain range or a section of a mountain range that experiences an earthquake that he couldn't have predicted. Then I think it would be difficult. But the other point I wanted to make is one of the things that fed that theory, that he hid it prior to actually publishing the book, sometime prior to actually publishing the book, is the case for the lock of hair that was in it. And here's the case that I would make. If, let's say, he hid it in 2000, and I'm just using that as an example, and he planned not to publish the book till 2010 to see how good his theory of I can leave this chest and it won't be accidentally found, right? But let's say he puts it out there and it was accidentally found, there would have to be evidence, because he hasn't published the book, there would have to be evidence that he actually owned it. And that's why the lock of hair. If you look at the lock of hair in the context of the 2010 hiding of the treasure, there's no reason for it to be there. The only reason you could, well, I shouldn't say the only reason, the reason that I believe the lock of hair is placed in there is to prove ownership independent of the poem, the book, etc., etc. So I think it's possible. I don't have any evidence that that actually happened, but you have to wonder why the lock of hair is there.
Exactly. And going back to the theory of chaos, that's a great answer. That's what I've always said all along.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think it could be possible in Yellowstone, because what happens if, hypothetically, the volcano does erupt and boom, it just melts everything in its vicinity? You have nothing left.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Idea. He's aware of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's aware of that. So it comes back to my other theory. What if, like we said before, you and I actually talked years ago on this subject. I don't know if you remember or not. In regards to Forrest Fenn's comment when he said, I was walking back to my car and laughed out loud because nobody was around, and said, Forrest Fenn, did you really do that? And right immediately there, that jumped out at me and said, why would he bring attention to that nobody was around? Automatically, you would assume nobody was around. He went in there alone. Nobody should be around. He should be by himself.
Right.
Why would you bring attention to that? So it's an indicator. Maybe it could be in a semi-public spot. What if, hypothetically, go with me here, here's a wild Joker card shot out of the deck. Here's a wild one. All right?
Go ahead.
What if it's hypothetically hid at a child's park somewhere in the mountains? What if it's a water park? That's where warm waters halt. Maybe the water park shuts down seasonally, and that's where you begin. What if these are just microcosms as an idea to lead you to the spot? They're not just metaphorical, but in one sense they are when you peel back the layer to understand the true geographic location. Mm-hmm. What if everybody's out there running through the entire mountains and whatnot, and it's sitting right there in front of our noses, and the kids are around it? Maybe that's why children have an advantage, but not that anybody's going to just stumble on it. And it brings me to the question, well, you know, who owns water parks? What land are they on? Right. What has been established for years on end? What will be remaining in the future? But what if it's sitting right there and just in a comical sense, and it's not on a human trail? Let's define a human trail. Just like he said, he was back home in time for dinner. Does anybody really know the true definition of dinner? And before you answer that, you better have looked up all the definitions, because you got definitions between lunch and dinner and past meals in different time periods. Right. I wouldn't put it past him if maybe he snuck out of the house, maybe even 10, 11 o'clock at night when Peggy was sleeping, and maybe he stayed there all night till the next day, and then he made it home in time for dinner, which was actually lunch, and that could have put him back anywhere on the map outside of, again, New Mexico, Colorado. If he drove, he could have made it all the way to the north, and then back in time for dinner, which is lunch. And, there's all kinds of plausible theories on the table. But, again, at the end of the day, it's right there in front of our nose, and nobody's sniffing hard enough. Everybody's trying to use their eyes, but they're not using the other sense, not necessarily the nose, but that intuition.
Yeah, no, we agree with you. I mean, the reason I'm agreeing with you is because we face the same challenge, right? We still, over the past 3 or 4 weeks, I've gone back, and Shelley will tell you what we discussed in between shows today was disassembling the poem. What else is in there? What are we not doing? The only objection I would make to the idea that it's in one of these public places is that he still, so that the special place to me is not a public place. To me, it always sounds isolated, some place that's special to him, and that we are not going to stumble over, accidentally find the treasure. So I have considered those kinds of things, but I always come back to, how is that special to Forrest Fenn? What would make it special to Forrest Fenn?
Well, again, thinking about a place where you can find solitude, peace, and quiet. What if you want to be close to something, but not so close where you're involved with it, as in monitoring something from a distance? Let's just say, hypothetically, a public place, but roughly 500 or 1,000 feet off of that public property premise in the woods, but still close enough where you can observe. You can observe what life is taking place around you while you're tucked away or cozied in, if you will, in a sense. That's the best way I can put it. Being able to monitor from afar to feel like you're involved, but not. I mean, that's the type of character I have Fenn for. There's a lot of things he says and does that seems to be weird to the average, but I relate to him on so many levels. I'm only in my young 30s, and he's 80 years old, and I'm like, wow, this is crazy. I spent a lot of time with older people growing up, grandparents and whatnot, their friends, so I think like an old-timer, and I feel like an old-timer. But there's just a lot of uniqueness I can understand, but then there's certain things he goes off on tangent. Used in slurring of the words, not so much his accent, but there's little cues, and I'm sure you picked up on those too by going back and observing those videos, such as I'll leave it at this, but the wood knock, the tapping of the wood during certain key phrases and things of that nature in the video. I'm sure you, but there's more than that. If you go beyond sounds and body language, there's a little extra there that's kind of sitting in our faces that kind of helps, I would say, gear the direction of which way we should be facing. But besides that, I wanted to ask you, what is your take on the punctuation in the poem towards the end, where he says, "If you're brave and in the wood, I give you title to the gold," but there's no comma after wood. It kind of just segues into the next line of the poem, and it's conformed as one.
So
what's your take on that part?
There's no requirement in poetry to have the lines of any stanza separated by punctuation. If you take out that sentence, "If you're brave and in the wood, I give you title to the gold," doesn't require a comma. It's a diagrammable sentence. It may not be perfectly spoken, but again, he's got to deal with the poetic license he's taken. But I've analyzed, I've looked at it. As a matter of fact, I was talking about it with Shelley this afternoon. That sentence is complete, whether it has a comment or not. And poetry, as a matter of fact, one of the things that when you are reading poetry, if you've ever belonged to a forensic competition, a forensic team, when you are reading poetry, you have to make sure one of the things that the points are taken away from you is if you start inserting punctuation where there is none. So the sentence reads normally, "If you're brave and in the wood, I give you title to the gold." There is no absolute need for a comma there unless you're trying to do something with the meter of the poem.
Exactly. And I think the focus should be on those particular two words towards the end, the word would and I. Not the actual word I, as in I myself, as in him speaking to the person who's reading, but would I, as in the would not.
Yeah.
Have you done any checking on the would not by any chance?
I haven't.
You delve a little deeply into that?
I haven't.
The would.
Yeah.
The would I, as in the steady I.
Yeah, I have not.
Not yet. Okay.
All right, sir.
Yeah, I mean that's. One more quick question for you before I let you go. There was a video a while back. Long story was that Fenn was at I think it was a book signing or a book introduction. Another fellow was on stage, and they basically pulled Fenn on stage against his will. You guys had something on video.
Yeah.
And I guess about a week later, a couple days later, Fenn requested that you guys remove that off the internet because there were some things in there he did at one scene.
It wasn't a couple of days. It was the next day.
It was the next day, yeah. What was that in particular in that video? Can Can you talk about what it was? I know you can't repost it, but
Yeah.
what was it that really got him and a little Fenny?
It was the fact that he was showing that he was embarrassed by the showing of his age. He was having a difficult time hearing. He didn't expect to be brought up onto stage. He was expecting that the stage after the presentation of the lure, that there would be a conversation between Diana Taylor and Thomas Leach, the director. Diana literally forced him out of his seat to come down. It was A, he wasn't planning on it, and B, he wasn't prepared for it. So they were having to, if you look at what was going on, Thomas was actually having to translate for him, and because of his hearing, he couldn't hear the questions from the audience, and he was very embarrassed by all of that. And so when he called, he asked me to take it down completely. Then I tried to negotiate with him to get certain pieces back up. I asked if I could make a transcription of it because I thought some of the things he said were interesting. And then eventually what we negotiated is that if I would limit myself to the question, to his answer, and print the question, that was what we negotiated.
No, that makes perfect sense.
But
that,
it was
that
because
speaks on a higher level of psychology, just
Yeah.
like him talking in the book. That the reason why he couldn't write his book or get around to it is because his self-esteem was at the bottom.
Yeah.
And again, going back to Fenn, he knows psychology. I mean, we're talking stuff that's not just textbook. He's got a higher level than what we can even understand. But there was one little comment that he made when he got on stage. I don't know if anybody took it to heart or what they thought of it, but he made a little joke in the sense that in this movie, some people were 1,600 miles away from the treasure.
Yeah.
Meaning possibly they were at the opposite end of the spectrum. I mean, what was your take on that? Do you think it was really at the, well, it could be a literal sense that it's either at one opposing end or the other. Maybe it is in New Mexico or it's the opposing end in Yellowstone, which I don't think it is.
Yeah, I categorized it. I set it off to humorous exaggeration. It got him a laugh, and that's what he wanted.
There's always a truth. There's always some truth in a laugh. That's what I've learned through the ages.
Yeah.
No matter how funny it is, no matter
it
how
was Freud that
rude
said
it is, there's always a little bit of truth in the underlying.
It was Freud that said there are no jokes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me get on to some other callers.
I'll touch base sometime soon.
We look forward to it.
All right, talk to you soon.
Thank you.
We had a couple of super chats while that was going on.
A couple.
One from Huck Fenn and one from Will H again. Did you have that question from Huck?
It's so far down. It
was yellow.
Oh, it's
$10?
expired. I got to it. It was expired. So I don't know what the question was. I'm
See if
sorry.
I can find it. I got it.
Let me take this. Caller, hang on just for just a second. I've got to answer a question. Don't go away, okay? Go ahead.
No worries.
He said he never said that he made 2 trips splitting the weight. I think he took the Terry Scant with Marvel Gaze the first trip, dug the pit or existing mound, then on the second trip put the treasure.
Yeah, I think it was very clear that he made 2 trips in one afternoon, and that in the first trip he took the chest, and in the second trip he took the treasure.
He did talk about how heavy it was.
Yeah.
So, but you're right. He never specifically, explicitly said that he took half the treasure and then half the chest. He never said what he carried and where and when.
Okay. Any other questions before I take this call?
Same thing from Huck Fenn. How did that, and he's talking about Douglas Preston. How did Douglas Preston know that there are clues in the second book? He said Forrest Fenn didn't want him saying anything.
Douglas Preston is a master marketeer, and what he was helping Fenn do was sell the book.
Yeah.
We didn't see anything in there that was clues, and Douglas.
If he knew where the treasure was,
he'd go get it. Hey, caller, you've reached Toby and Shelley. What's your name, where you're calling from, and what's your observation?
This is your friend Doug from New Mexico.
Hey, Doug, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, very good. What you got for us tonight?
Oh, well, first I just wanted to say that Forrest actually did mention that he took it in 2 trips.
Yeah.
And I think he said first he took the gold, then the treasure box because I think it was in like the Rick Hughes interview.
You know what?
But then the other thing.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, and the reason is if he had left the gold in the vehicle, it would have put it at risk. So he had to put in the special hidden plate first. I agree with you. I think you're right. I had it backwards.
Yeah, well, no worries. I'm just saying I think he specifically said that he did take it in 2 separate trips.
Right.
And he mentioned which one he took first. But here, I just wanted to first just read a few quotes from Forrest.
Okay.
So
Wait, why are you going to read these quotes?
He says there was basically to indicate something about the search area.
Okay,
so
all
I
right,
think
go ahead.
everybody's saying that, Forrest, well, not everybody, but a lot of people indicate that Forrest wouldn't put it anywhere that would lead to it being in an illegal place, and that he said that there might not be any legal question, but I think that these kind of like support that might not be true. So he says, there was no roads, no trails, and no ranger to tell me I wasn't supposed to do that. And he also said, I figured that I had 15 minutes before the sheriff could get there and tell me I wasn't supposed to do that. So many of his stories, he's talking about doing illegal things and things that are against the rules. And also, I think there was like a letter in one of Kyle's videos where Forrest refers to in the woods to a place that seems to be referring to an illegal archaeological search area.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like in Kyle's opinion. That's just what I remember. But I just wanted to say, if the treasure is not in a dangerous place, but you have to be brave to go there, doesn't that possibly indicate that there may be like a questionable place of where you put it, like somewhere where it would be illegal to put it there? And then maybe I kind of feel like maybe that's what take the chest and go in peace. Maybe that's what he's referring to, is basically take the chest and then just don't say anything to anybody about where you found it. And I don't know about your research. I wasn't able to like really find anything, and I haven't talked to an attorney, but if say you find the treasure and you report it to the IRS, is there any law that you know of that says that you have to tell them where you found it?
No. There's no requirement.
Right,
you found a treasure and you wish to keep the treasure located. They don't care as long as you pay your taxes.
So that's what I'm saying. So don't you think it kind of makes sense that if he's saying just take the chest and go in peace, he's basically referring just keep your mouth shut? And that's why he always talks about, two can keep a secret if one of them is dead. And he's basically just saying that, like, don't tell anybody, and there won't be a legal question. It doesn't matter where it's at. It could be in Toby Younis's backyard, and if I find it and I don't tell him or anyone else, then there's no legal question from anybody. No one can, make claim to it or, say that that's not right.
But why would he put that person at any kind of risk when he could just as easily have hidden it in a place where no one is at risk? Because I think there's a big difference between him saying he's a breaker of the rules and expecting that the finder of the treasure is going to have to break the rules. He's always indicated that the finder of the treasure will not be in controversion of the law, that it would be easy, and that he's going to open up a Pandora's box of problems. But I don't think he's ever. I don't think he expects that the finder is going to be the kind of rules breaker that he is. I think he wants to make it as easy as possible for the finder to own that treasure, so that the finder doesn't have those problems. I mean, he's going to have problems simply because you've come into a great deal of wealth all at once, and you're going to have to pay taxes, and you're going to have to. But I don't see why you have to explain where you found it.
But he kind of also, though, indicates that, in the same conversation where he's indicating that no matter where it's found, people are going to basically challenge it, and there's always going to be, he's basically saying there's going to be a legal question no matter where it's found.
No, that's very different. So there may be.
And then he says, what if there is no legal question?
Right.
So the only way, in my opinion, that no matter what there couldn't be any legal question would be if you didn't tell anybody where you found it. Because no matter what, someone can sue you and say, oh, well, that was my property, or that because it was found here, or Yellowstone can say, oh, you found it here, you should have turned it in, or Glacier, or somewhere in New Mexico, or no matter where it's found, someone's going to try to claim that it's theirs, I think. So I think that's like the only way that there could be no legal question.
I think that would be, well, I think when he's talking about the legal question, I don't think he's talking about legal challenges to the ownership. I think the legal question he's talking about is how you handle owning that treasure when you pay taxes, or what you do with it in terms of its disposition or monetization or liquidation. But I don't think, I think, like most people, and I think we have to have an attorney say this, I don't think, if you don't have the treasure in your possession and all you have is, I thought it was there, or my solve is just like that, that's not going to stand up in court. It'll never get past the courts. They can sue you as much as they want.
But I think, Toby, the problem is, though, is people could tie it up. So if there's say if someone like sues you claiming that it's theirs rightfully, then you wouldn't be able to sell it until that legal dispute is resolved.
No.
So that could
you have title to
the
title to the gold. You have the title. You probably have it not only in Fenn's poem, but there's probably something in his in the biography hidden in that olive jar that gives you title to the gold. People that don't have the title to the gold do not have the title to the gold. They don't own it. And if they don't have a title to the gold, if there's not something in writing that indicates they own it, it becomes frivolous and it never makes it to the courts. The courts are wise about these things. I mean, courts aren't going to let people sue you because they had a similar solution. They've got to prove that they have title. If they don't have the treasure, they don't have title, and the case becomes.
Yeah, but but most states have laws, like even with your own house, even if you hold the title to your home, that anyone can, like a contractor can go and put a lien against your home and prevent you from selling it until the lien is resolved. And they don't have to have a written contract, and you can hold the title to your home.
Yeah,
and
that's only in the case.
If that is present, they're not able to do so.
The only way a contractor can put a lien on your home is if they can prove that you owe them money. That's the only way.
Yeah, but most states you can have verbal contracts, and they don't have to show any proof to put the lien on the home. They can just go and put the lien at the county clerk. Well, but anyway, I guess we could agree to disagree.
Okay.
And I respect your opinion.
All right.
But
Thanks for calling in.
I just have one more question.
Okay.
Can I ask you one more question?
Sure, one more.
So, I've been trying to find, there's like a quote from Forrest, or someone was talking about Forrest, talking about when he passes away, that I think he said like the wolves are going to come out of the woods or something like that, and everybody's going to be trying to, buy all his stuff and bug Peggy for his stuff. And I just can't find it, but I could have sworn that I had heard that before. But have you heard of that? And also, do you think that is when he says, so why is it that I must go and leave my trove for all to seek? Do you think he may be referring to his trove as actually all of his possessions that he has at his home in New Mexico and his personal property? And
so let me answer
talking about leaving that to go die.
Yeah, let me answer those real quickly. Number one, I've never heard the reference that you just made. And number two, no. It's very specific as to what he's defining as his trove in that poem.
Okay. All right. Thanks for your time, Toby.
Okay. Good night. Okay. Wow. Okay. I'm turning the phone lines off, guys. We do have some more voicemails, but we'll save those for next Wednesday, I guess. Will H. Kaching says, why did the attorney from New York think Forrest Fenn was a fraud? I don't recall. That conversation took place at least a couple of years ago, and he just went on a rant. He literally, this was not a conversation. I asked him to join me on the show. He said, what was the topic? And when I told him that, he launched, and I don't want to say yelled at me. He spoke loudly about the topic, calling Fenn a fraud and the treasure was a hoax. And at the end of that, he didn't wait for me to disagree with him, or he hung up. So for whatever he said, he had already formulated an opinion. He had heard of it, he knew what it was, and he had formulated his opinion. So that's a question you might want to ask him, because I don't know the answer to that question. I didn't get a chance to say, why do you think that? The phone conversation ended before that. Okay, wow, 9:30, 2.5 hours, and that's a long time for anybody.
Yes, Virginia man says I should get overtime. He's trying to unionize me. I'm surprised Kevin's not.
Asking for it, yeah. So what's the plan for tomorrow?
Tomorrow we're going to be on the K-Pro Cow Show at 2 o'clock local time. Yeah.
2 o'clock Mountain Time, 1 o'clock Pacific Time.
Figure it out.
4 o'clock Eastern Time. Is that right?
Joel Lewicki will start off the show at noon Pacific or 1 o'clock Mountain Time. So we'll be following Joel for the handoff at 2 o'clock. We'll see him. And
we might even stay on for a little while together just to see.
Just to see.
Just to debate stuff.
Just to say hi.
Yeah.
Hang out. So I hope you all will be there and in the chat room, getting our numbers up, showing everybody how popular we are, because, you know, that makes me happy.
Thanks, guys. No, that really, for everyone that was here tonight, thank you. For everyone that contributed in the form of Super Chat, thank you. We appreciate that, and we hope we can continue to build your trust with us that we're going to deliver really good programming and informative, entertaining, and educational. That's what we're trying for.
Yeah, we appreciate you all being here this evening. We had some really great numbers again, 245 for almost to 250. You know, I know my mom's not in town, but let's try a little harder tomorrow.
So yeah, it would be great to see you guys on Calazar's channel with Christy and Mike. They are
going to be a party.
Our favorite people, and we look forward to the opportunity to share
it's
the afternoon.
It's a really
with
good
them.
excuse to kick off the search season.
Exactly.
So yeah, everybody should be there. The next week, and we're going to talk a little bit tomorrow about what we're going to talk about on Wednesday. So we'll be previewing that just a bit tomorrow, so be there for that. But Wednesday at 1 o'clock, we'll be back with our Wednesday Fenn's Day 1 o'clock show from 1 to 2, and then back in the evening for Hump Day Hoedown from 7 to 9. So we look forward to seeing you that day as well.
That's how.
Just like that.
Just like that, baby. And
thank you all for being here, for all your great questions and comments and phone calls, and we really appreciate that Super Chat challenge tonight. For A Gypsy's Kiss, I'm Shelley Carney.
And thank you for all your emails, text messages, voicemails, and call-ins. You can send an email to agypsieskiss@gmail.com. You can leave a voicemail now at 866-597-9901, and that'll just give us more stuff to talk about next week. We will see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. our time.